Third when these two sides last met in freezing cold conditions in Craigs. Well, it's a beautiful day today and the opportunity is there for a bit of running rugby and for both sides to cut loose. It's more than just a regular derby though. One of these two sides is going to finish top of the table by the end of play today. It's all about those bragging rights, that top of the table spot, and who they will face off against in the semi-finals of the competition. Neil Alcorn and Dennis Fogarty have both come with sides stacked with internationals, ball players, heavy carrying forwards, and there's plenty of rugby in both. 46 players, both teams 23 available for selection. It's going to be a cracking game of rugby in the UCD Bowl. You're very welcome to the UCD Bowl on what is a beautiful, if slightly inconsistent day. Fiona Hayes, co-commentary for today's match. When we watched this match back in January, freezing cold, more than a few errors on the Clovers side. Wolfhounds took the day. Do you see today a replication of that, or are these conditions going to change the shape of that game?
No, I think it's going to be an absolutely cracking game, Dan. I think, I suppose the weather played into that game as well. There's Siobhan, I'm getting waves from all the players here, but that I used to coach. But what happened also, there was a few injuries in that Clovers team, so I think they're strengthened up here. Enya Breen is back into the starting lineup. Beth throwing the ball here beside me is straight in at hooker, and I'm really looking forward to this battle. I've been counting down to this one. It's going to be cracking, and obviously semi-finals spots on place.
Well, both sides already guaranteed semi-final, but they have both come fully stacked. Is that a measure of how much they want this bragging rights over each other?
Yeah, and I think you have to remember as well that actually Scott Beamond, I think, is naming his squad maybe next week, or the girls will find out about it next week. So you want to be putting in a huge performance. So to get that jersey here today is the start, and then it's in your own hands. You can go out there and, as I said, put in a big performance and hopefully get your name on that sheet for the Six Nations coming up.
Winner takes it all today. It's going to be top of the table spot. What do Clovers need to do in order to get it? What do Wolfhounds need to do to keep them out?
Yeah, look, I think obviously the Wolfhounds were probably, let's be honest, shocked with that loss a couple of weeks ago. They hadn't lost a game up to that, but certainly from this first game against the Clovers that they played, there was a massive kicking battle. Dan O'Brien was unbelievable, but she really turned the Clovers down, so I would have around, and that kind of interfered with their attack at times. So I feel like they might sit a little bit deeper and they'll be expecting that kicking game, but certainly they'll let loose themselves because there's some quality. You've got Aoife Corey, some of the wingers there are ready to go. So it's one of those games where obviously the Wolfhounds are in the driving seat, but you never know an Irish derby.
The potential is, and with no disrespect to any of the other teams, considering how well both of these sides have been playing, there's a very good chance this could also be a final. Are there either of these sides going to be thinking about that before this game starts? Or is that going to be a factor in what happens out on that pitch?
No, look, I think, do you know what's funny, Dan, is I was actually went for a coffee up around here earlier, and both players from the Wolfhounds and from the Clovers were having a coffee together, so it just shows that there's such a bond inside in this Irish squad and the contracted players. But that'll all turn the minute they step onto the pitch, and as I said, I think they'll be focused on this game and performance in particular, with the chance of some of these players that are on the fringe. The likes of Enya has been injured, so she'll be coming back in trying to get that starting jersey as well for Ireland. So it's kind of a performance based with an eye on the final, I would imagine.
It is going to be a dinging game of rugby, number one against number two. It'll be kicking off at 3 o'clock. We did catch up with both of the team coaches a short time ago. Dennis Fogarty of the Wolfhounds, but first, Dennis Fogarty of the Clovers, but first, Wolfhounds, Neil Alcorn. Neil, semi-final place already guaranteed, but you've still come very fully stacked for this game. What's the logic behind the selection?
It's a derby week, so kind of says it for itself. So, no, listen, it's going to be a great battle today. So, both teams are as strong as they can. So, we're looking forward to it.
The first game played down in Craig, started the year, very much went in your favour. A lot of errors from the Clovers. Was that down to errors you forced, and is that something you want to see again?
We'd like to think so, wouldn't we? But I suppose it's the first game. There's always going to be a bit of nerves. Both teams trying to find their kind of way. Clovers have had a really good success in the past couple of weeks, so we need to make sure we're on top of our game today, to be honest, and then that's all we really focus on.
There is obviously going to be one eye on a potential final, and this could potentially be that final being played out now. Has that been part of any of the preparation?
Not for us, no. Probably said before that we take one game as it comes, and the big thing for us this week, it's a massive way to end the campaign before we go into semi-finals. We massively want to make sure we finish up how we want to today.
And obviously, as you said, it's Derby. That's always going to be. Do you need to rein the players in a little bit, or are they finding their own motivation? What's the mood like?
The mood's very good. You can see, I think both camps have been at each other a wee bit this week, so more probably players than coaches. But big thing for us is today is make sure we get our stuff right, focus on ourselves. But yeah, so hopefully be a good game today.
Smashing, you'll go well. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Dennis, word is that there's been the camps having a little pops at each other all throughout the week in anticipation of the game. Is there an atmosphere building?
There is. There's definitely an atmosphere building anyway within our group. There's a lot of energy, and we just spoke about making sure that we keep that energy and putting it out in the pitch in the right way. So look, it's an exciting time, and it's an exciting challenge for our group against the Wolfhounds. So it's it should be a good game.
Was some of that energy perhaps misplaced in the first game between the two sides back in January?
Yeah, we spoke about it this week in terms of going out to try and dominate them, and we probably just tended to play too much and not in the areas that we wanted to play and try and get on top. So that was the focus this week, is of actually focusing on the areas that we want to get on top on, and then allow us getting into the game. So that's been the challenge for us this week. So hopefully we see that out on the pitch.
Semi-final place guaranteed, but you've still come fairly heavily stacked in this squad selection. What was the motivation behind that?
I suppose getting into it now, we want to look for that 80-minute performance, and it's something we've been searching on. And like I said before, it's a really competitive squad now, but we're into the business end of it, so we need a bit of momentum going into semi-finals. So we're looking at the moment, this is what I believe is the best 23 to get the job done here today. So I'm looking forward for him to perform well.
And finally, with the top spot in mind, I mean, this is a 1 and 2 combo for both of these teams. Is that something that one of those teams wants over the other, that number one spot, or is it all about the semi-final places?
No, I suppose we're all competitors, so we always want to finish on top. And again, I go back to my point of making sure that we've momentum and getting a performance out there. And we're very much focused on getting top spot, and we go from there.
Smashing, thanks very much. Go well.
Thank you.
Dennis Fogarty of the Wolfhounds, the Clovers. I've done it again. Pre-match in the build-up to this cracking contest between number 1 and number 2 in the Celtic Challenge table on this final day, final round, not the final day, between the Wolfhounds and the Clovers. We are nearing kickoff. Yesterday saw Edinburgh put pay to Glasgow's hopes of making the semi-finals. There's 2 games left. Britton and Gwalia, with a chance still in it for Britton. But for the Clovers and Wolfhounds kicking off here at 3 o'clock, it's a straight up case of who's going to be number 1 and who's going to be number 2. Just 2 points between the sides, 1 loss each, 8 wins. The Clovers' only loss was against this Wolfhound side in Craigs. Myself and Fiona Hayes were there on a freezing day in early January for that clash. No chance of that today. The sun is out and shining and warm for the first time this year. It's not raining on us, which is going to make for a cracking game of rugby, one would think. Crowds starting to fill in as we look at the Wolfhounds starting 15. Linda Jugang is at loose head in the front row alongside India Daly. On the other side of Daly will be Sophie Barrett. The engine room sees Kate Jordan and Nisha Smith. And that back row, mobile and fast, Grace Moore, Aoife Corcoran, and of course Captain Erin King, Ireland Captain Erin King, excuse me. Evie Riley and Dana O'Brien are the 9-10 combo as they were in Craigs back in January. Niamh Marley is on one wing with Robin O'Connor, speedster, on the other. Amy Larn is at fullback, and that centre combo is absolutely devastating. We've seen them time and time again. Eve Higgins and Aoife Dalton, 2 absolute weapons in midfield, both in terms of their rugby IQ and the pace and power they bring. On the bench, Maeve Clanahan, Emma Jane Wilson and sister Hannah Wilson will be in the front row. We'll have a look at some of those replacements in a little while. For the Clovers, it is a slightly changed and rotated side that takes the field from the side to face the Wolfhounds. Last time out, Siobhan McCarthy, Beth Buttimer and Sive McGrath make up the front row. Ruth Campbell is captain alongside Even McGrath. Faith Oviawe is 6, Ailish Quinn is 7, and Jemima Adams-Verling, a huge carrying threat, at number 8. The half-back pairing is Emily Lane and Kate Flannery. In the centre, it's Enya Breen and Alana McInerney, another outstanding centre combo. What a clash that's going to be between those two centre pairings. And Bevan Parsons, Anna McGann make up the wingers, with Aoife Corey at full back. Aoife, quite the playmaker, with a significant boot to add to the game as well. It is a slightly rotated side in UCD Bowl as the fans start to fill in. Dan Mooney here on commentary, joined by the legendary Fiona Hayes. Fiona, we covered this match last time out. It was error-strewn, it was cold, conditions obviously played an impact on that. What a day we have for rugby today.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable up here in the UCD Bowl. You can just see the sun shining on the pitch. They even have a few floodlights on to add to the atmosphere as well. But look, I think, Dan, the last time they played, if it serves me right, I think it was Erin King's first game back as well from that long injury, so she was limited to 20 minutes. She has just been unbelievable in this tournament, and the back row in general today is going to be huge. How they go after to break down both teams. And you spoke about the Wolfhounds centre partnership. It's completely different now for the Clovers. You've Enya Breen back in the mix, who has been outstanding for Ireland and any team she's ever played with, so she's really good to have back in that atmosphere and in the buzz of the team. So I'm really looking forward to a better Clovers performances. I know they were a bit disappointed with that game up in Craigs, so they'll be adding something today, I think, different.
There has been, well, you mentioned pre-comms there a little while ago that some of these players were sitting down having coffee with each other. We did hear from Dennis Fogarty and from Neil Ailcorn suggesting that there's been a little bit of a back and forth between some of those players. There is a bit of a rivalry there between these sides.
Yeah, absolutely, and it stems from the provinces as well. You know, these girls obviously are in that kind of Munster, Leinster, Ulster, Connacht each away, so there's always a bit of banter there. But certainly today, as I said, I passed a couple of them in a coffee shop in Buzzbridge, and they were getting coffee together, but I'd say there was a little banter as well.
A phenomenal clash on the cards between these two sides. That centre pairing for both, I mean, you could look at throughout both teams, yeah, for quality absolutely everywhere, but those centre pairings seem particularly strong for both teams. They're going to have a say in how this result goes. Yeah,
look, and Alana McInerney, she didn't play in that game in Craigs. I think she was away with the sevens at the time, and generally has played a lot on the wing, but certainly club, I've coached her, and as a centre she's unbelievably skilled and talented. And to have Enya beside her as well, it's the tried and tested of Eve and Aoife Dalton against this exciting Alana in at centre, and obviously having Enya in there trying to prove a point as well. I'm sure she was disappointed with the amount of game time that she didn't get in the World Cup.
We have just seen a celebrity in the audience. The legendary US rugby star Leona Maher is in attendance for today's game, standing on the far side. What a player she is, and has proven to be for the USA team. I fancy either one of these teams would like to have that player out today. No,
she's outstanding. You know, it's always been a dream of mine, Dan, to get on the old Dancing with the Stars, and she done it over in America and she had twinkle toes. I don't know if I'd be as talented there either.
Both teams are out on the pitch. We are about to see the clash of first versus second in this final round game between the Wolfhounds and the Clovers. It's Kate Flannery who's going to get the game underway.
All happy?
Yeah.
Cool. Best of luck.
Nice.
Are you going left or right? Left. Blue ready!
So to start, as referee Gaughan gets us underway with a shrill blast of the whistle, and Kate Flannery kicks it off and immediately received and carried into contact for the Wolfhounds. The kick not making the 22, and Dane O'Brien does best. Kicks that one long, aims it at Aoife Corey, who collects it just outside the 10 and steps back into traffic, loves weaving through tackles and takes it towards the halfway line before going to ground. Lane spinning it out. Lovely carry tip on. That's a massive hit put on to onto Sive McGrath. And the Clovers team, and the finds his space down the gangway, and off they go, and tearing through is Bevan Parsons with the fend on Dane O'Brien, and Bevan Parsons still going, needs support, and unfortunately spills it as she was looking for the offload. But Bevan Parsons showing what Parsons is capable of. Electric pace down that wing, breaking unexpectedly through the tackle, and the Clovers will, well, that's going to put a bit of a warning to Dane O'Brien. Don't kick that ball too loose. There's players who want to return that.
Yeah, I spoke about the weather and the conditions the last day.
Nice and patient, good stability.
That kicking game, but certainly Bevan Parsons, that is some start by her. You could see that out-in movement. She actually tried to offload it to Emily on the inside, but unfortunately didn't go well to hand.
First scrum of the game, we hope will stay up. Become something of a tradition in rugby these days for the first
really
scrum.
good. We just have to keep patience.
Always a reset. You could tell me how it works. I don't know.
It's not a scrum, the first scrum, unless it is a reset. You're spot on there, Dan. But I can just imagine what's being said over and back inside in that scrum. What a place to be. I used to love it myself. But certainly they know each other well in there. But obviously you have to go on the referee's interpretation as well. So they'd be looking at what you can get away with. We'll call it.
Two outstanding sets of props as it's picked and goes into midfield. Riley finding Higgins, and Higgins does as Higgins does best, runs over one, goes to ground. Riley back to O'Brien. O'Brien is going to put a boot on it again. She has massive range with that boot. Corey collects it outside the 22, running back, looking for some options, trying to step out. That's a superb tackle by Amy Larn into midfield. The line speed from Wolfhounds is really good, putting pressure on the Clovers into midfield again. That's a better carry. Resourcing that ruck well. Taken in, says the referee, as Flannery puts a boot on it. Drops in front of Dane O'Brien, who collects it and throws an awkward pass, but it is collected and really well taken. And off goes Niamh Marley. And suddenly the break is on, and it's tearing through the middle. Jugan hauled down the pillar, not protected, and suddenly the Wolfhounds are running, and Moore has it, spinning it to the outside.
Roll away!
Riley is quick at the base, back up for Jugang, taking it into the 22. O'Brien sliding through the gap. Has she managed to make spaces? Just tearing through the tackle, and the ball lost forward. And when you see Dane O'Brien take the ball, you're expecting the pass, but she has tested that Clovers defence by deciding, no, I'm going to have a little go at this, and just glides through.
Yeah, you can see straight away what this Wolfhounds team are trying to do. They're trying to add the tempo, add the pace. You saw Linda Jugang, there was no pillar there. She picks and go. Same with Dana. She's attacking that inside shoulder. And I think the Clovers are obviously fanning out because they're afraid of getting attacked in those wide channels. But certainly internally they got to tighten things up. But done well in their scramble defence there as well.
Forcing the error.
First scrum is really good. Let's keep
We've
it
seen
up.
2 breaks so far. Bevan Parsons spilling in contact as she was taken down. That time Dane O'Brien. Both defences getting out of jail somewhat by the errors.
Set.
The feed is going to be from Emily Lane. It's big pressure on from the Wolfhound scrum, but it comes out the back.
Hold in front.
It's a big, massive boot. It's going to drop. Really well taken by Larn. Sets off, looking to slide through. Goes past the tackle of Ailish Quinn. Eventually to ground. O'Brien dinking it, aiming it for the touchline. It's going to bounce in. It's a superb territorial kick from Dana O'Brien. And well, if she had that little break the first time, she goes back to what she knows best. Her control with the boot is outstanding.
Yeah, brilliant. And what a start Amy Larn has had as well, just coming into the team at 15. Obviously Stacey Flood, we're used to seeing her in there, but she's had a couple of line breaks now, really resolute in that backfield there. But certainly Aoife Corey knows Dana's going to switch. She's stuck in that middle ground trying to decide, but a really superb kick from Dana.
There are back rows in the midfield for the Wolfhounds, and the ball is overthrown, and suddenly the break is on, and the try line is coming for the Wolfhounds. Linda Jugan picks and goes for the pillar, just short. The break still on, line still begging, and it is scored to the left hand side of the post. It is finished, and up from the bottom comes Grace Moore, holding the ball in hand. Grace Moore, after Linda Jugang's break through the pillar and the Clovers defence, just not tight enough. And that tempo that Fiona Hayes spoke about comes to haunt the Clovers.
Yeah, so quick there. You know, you can see here from it's Linda Zhugang with the power, but it's the ability to get the ball back. Grace Moore fresh over from Ealing. She's been playing over in Trailfinders with over in the Premiership, so she's looking quick and smart and switched on as well today. But you can see exactly what they're trying to do. Up the pace, really stretch that Clovers defence.
And converted, as you would expect, a routine kick for the Irish 10. Dane O'Brien adds the extras, and the home side are 7-0 up after just 5 minutes. The Clovers perhaps haven't left the dressing room just yet in the way that you would disappoint a coach, I would think.
Yeah, they actually started quite brightly, and you can see there is some big hits going in there, but it's that internal defence where they're folding too quickly, and that's what's catching them, I think.
Backwards.
Flannery with the kick. It's awkward, but eventually collected into the deck. It goes. Riley goes back for O'Brien, and O'Brien puts the left boot on it, bounces, splitting the defence, and then bounces again very awkwardly between defenders, and eventually collected. It's a good exiting kick, an outstanding exiting kick under some pressure as that ball bounced behind, but it will be a platform for the Wolfhounds to attack, and the first line-out opportunity for India Daly.
Yeah, that's it. I've never seen a 10 tell the linesman go further back, 10 further forward. So that was Dan O'Brien. She could have got away with an extra metre. That's the first for that. But yeah, look, it's a really good exit by Kate Flannery in that backfield. You can see they're dropping two. They're expecting it, but probably wants to get there a bit before the bounce the next time.
Spun into midfield, and O'Brien has hands on it, and O'Brien is going to test this defence again. Moore is on the carry, takes two to stop her. Eventually she goes to ground, and Riley's there yet again, but that pass is awkward, goes behind everyone and is collected eventually. The Wolfhounds reset, having lost some yards. Riley for O'Brien, O'Brien out the back door, and it's through hands, and off they go, the Wolfhounds, and the tackle is into touch. No, there's an advantage coming for a high tackle, and so the Wolfhounds have it for free here. Zhugang again on the carry, stopped initially and then sent backwards. That was Jemima Adams-Verling on the tackle, and India Daly goes on the carry. To the deck she goes. Riley sniping, passing to O'Brien. O'Brien into midfield. It's through the hands of Grace Moore. Unfortunately wasn't expecting it. The ball spilled forward. No advantage, says the referee. We come back for the high tackle penalty.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Wolfhounds. You can see Erin King going over. They want to take that nice and quick, but you see the blind side there, probably overloaded with too many forwards. Grace Moore is there. There's four backs. I think they need to get those two lines of attack in, because they are stretching the defence. But if you just do hands in an area like that, it's very, very easy for the Clovers to defend.
Well, those back row forwards, they want to carry, and they want to carry into contact. They're not going to do it with tremendous speed. And that kick from O'Brien is not good and goes dead on the first go, and that is get out of jail for the Clovers again.
Yeah, absolutely. It all came in the back of that high tackle, but that would be frustrating now for Dan O'Brien, because obviously she's trying to get as many inches as she can out of the kick, but you've got to keep it indoor, because to be fair to the Clovers, at scrum time they're really holding Linda Zhugang and Sophie Barrett down, so they are getting good change in that scrum area.
What a battle that is. Siobhan McCarthy and Syed McGrath with it all to do against this Irish front row.
I see the way they're lining up here. I think they want to get Baby maybe involved off the wing.
Referee blows the whistle. I was waiting for an arm to go out, but I think it's just going to be a reset. And he's going to go round to the other side to have a look at the far side. Perhaps. Nope. He's going to pull it a little bit.
Yeah, that's the old trick where you fold in, so you check your studs, and the referee moves it out a little bit, even though probably just slipped there. But look, as I said, if you look at the way they're attacking, the shape has now changed again. Baven was in the boot, so I think they might look at just getting exits here and getting up the field for a bit of territory.
Well, it was a mistake we saw in the game in January. Too much ball playing inside their own half for the Clovers, and the Wolfhounds exploited that fairly ruthlessly. To the back it goes. Verling is there, but instead it's picked by Lane, and it's picked for Parsons, and Parsons breaks through one and has put a foot into touch. Really huge burst of acceleration to come into the wing, unexpected trick play move, but Bevan Parsons just puts a foot in touch.
Yeah, that's really well defended by the Wolfhounds. You can see she shifts right then back left. Unfortunately, it's just too wide, but really, really good defence here on Robin O'Connor was in the backfield and the flanker there to just get out. I think it was Aoife Corcoran.
It was planned and premeditated, but didn't come off the way they would have liked, and the line out is fluffed somewhat. There was good pressure in the jump from the Clovers, forcing the error from the Wolfhounds, and now Beth Buttimer will have the chance to put into the Clovers line out. She'll want to settle the nerves after the first line out.
Can we hurry up numbers, please?
Yeah, and look, everyone always blames the hooker. For me, I think there was no lift there at all, so or it was too slow in the lift. She threw the ball, obviously, and it just went over the back without any jump.
There's a jump there this time, but it's spilled forward for the knock on, and the Wolfhounds have it in midfield, and Dane O'Brien puts a big left boot. Referee calls advantage over. It's dropping with sun in the eyes, but Parsons takes it all the same. Safe as houses underneath it, and off she goes, the Connacht winger, to ground at the edge of the 22, and it's picked and go again, and now it's the Clovers trying to up the tempo a little bit. Referee cautions the Wolfhounds ruck. A little pop out, one out pop was predicted, seen coming by the Wolfhounds defence.
Take it in.
Taken back in, says the referee, as Flannery puts a boot on it into the bread basket of opposite number and thrown into midfield, and suddenly there's an opportunity for the Wolfhounds to attack at soft shoulders. The Clovers line has come up really well. It's going to have to go to the wing, and Eve Higgins is on the wing and takes one tackle, bounces out of it, and then sprints out of a second and tries to cut through. It had to be a big tackle from Faith Oviawe, and it was. Now Sophie Barrett on the carry into ground. She goes through hands. Lovely little step back inside. Too many players waiting though. That door closed in the face of the Wolfhounds attack. Riley into midfield. Grace Moore on the carry. Huge tackle from Sive McGrath. O'Brien to Linda Jugang. Carrying options tight for the 10er, excellent for the Wolfhounds all the time, and the break is on and through the hands, and it's intercepted, picked off that time. Riley was a little blind throwing that one, and the Clovers pick it off. They want that ball a little bit quicker. Dink over the top. Is there anyone at home? Ball bouncing. You can see Parsons coming from a distance. She wants to get on this one and put some pressure on. Back to hands, and it's Larry who puts the kick straight into touch, and the pressure from Bevan Parsons. The speed that winger has is simply phenomenal.
Yeah, but unbelievable spot by Emily Lane there. She knew that they had obviously just turned over the ball. Whoever was in the backfield was the opposite side of the pitch, so really perfectly timed dink over the top, and very unlucky for Parsons not to get there. I think Amy Larn started the game well. She'll be a little bit disappointed with that, but certainly you could see what she was trying to do. A little pop from Robin O'Connor and just get that exit, a matter of inches going out.
Buttimer's throw. This time it's taken well off the top from the Clovers. Flannery into midfield. Oviawe steps back inside through one tackle and brought to ground. Now McCarthy on the carry, and it's spilled and knocked on by Adams Verling, and Higgins has it. Higgins slices through the gap and breaks out of the tackle of Parsons. That's 3 tackles she's broken, and Higgins goes to ground eventually. Larn popping it up. Excuse me, that was not Larn.
Just hurry.
The Wolfhounds still have, through hands they go. Riley back to O'Brien. O'Brien puts it down in between the defenders. It's going to bounce dead. Well, it's going to bounce over the try line and collected by Corey. Corey sets off, puts a big kick. It's going to bounce awkwardly, but taken really well by Jane O'Brien. She looks up, assesses her options, tries to step outside of the tackle, comes back in. Good hit. Ball well presented and recycled, and through hands they go. The little slink, and it's gone, and bursting through was Dalton. Riley delays the pass, steps outside and delayed it just a little bit too long, and Sive McGrath came for it, put the hit on. It's a looping pass, it's an awkward one, and it's dinked in behind, and is the chase on. Collected in the backfield. Clovers under pressure, having to burst out of their own 22. Playing rugby in all of the wrong spots here. The visiting side. Wolfhounds controlling the possession and the territory very much. Clovers haven't had, and there it is, exposed on the ground. You could hear the shouts of we have, and I believe it's Erin King who managed to get over that one. And comes up from the deck, having turned over and got the penalty.
Yeah, superb by Erin King there. She just waits. She lets the two tacklers, Grace Moore, I think, and someone else get in there and just gets that body height so low to latch. Nobody could move her. But certainly I think you can see what the Wolfhounds are trying to attack that backfield, especially inside the 22 or just outside it. They know that they've only got one player there, Amy Larron, kicking through, putting pressure on. So I'm wondering, will they think about maybe dropping someone else back off that line, because they're really exposed at times there.
Ethan, just keep an eye on the front.
That threat
On the line.
Dane O'Brien, and now also from Amy Larn with the boot, is for sure. And
Maul!
the line out goes to Maul, and the Wolfhounds start to roll, and it's broken from the back and over the line, and the try is scored. The break from the back, and it's India Daly, the hooker, and who else at the back of them all to break and get over the line but the Wolfhounds number 2. And you have to say, Fiona, that's deserved on the balance of play in this opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's an excellently executed maul. I think the Clovers didn't even get up and contest, and you can see the Wolfhounds, they still got that shape, that were able to shift up to the right, then left, and find that space for India Daly to go over.
Much more difficult conversion this time around for Dan O'Brien. All the way out on that far side.
Yeah, it's frustrating. There's for the Clovers, because they are putting in the big hits. It's just that territory battle there on the losing end of it at the minute.
Brian's kick, pulling back inside. Is it good? Nope. Just wide, I would think. Though our angle from here is not great. I think that one was not far off at all. So the Wolfhounds race into a 12-0 lead after 16 minutes, nearly 17 minutes played. And the Clovers, that's not a mountain to climb, but they need to get a score on the board.
Yeah, look, and I think the message on will be, when they're attacking a couple of times in contact, the back rowers carrying have lost, I suppose, possession. They need to hold on to that ball, especially in those contact areas. But great kick-off there by Kate.
Wolfhounds allow it to bounce, and it's awkward, and there's a knock-on there. One-handed knock-on means a penalty. Wolfhounds just letting that one bounce, and Clovers collect, and now an opportunity for the Clovers to perhaps test their set-piece abilities. Flannery puts that into touch in the corner.
Yeah, and it's great to see Kate Flannery back. She was injured for a while. She came off the bench last week. It was her first game back, but certainly someone you like, who's calm and composed to have in there. And with Enya beside her, you have 2 boot options as well, so it's really working well for the Clovers.
The put in for Buttermers just inside the Wolfhounds 22. And they go back and forth, thrown really well taken from Evie McGrath, and the break is on. Clover starting to fan out. Lane gets hands on it and spins it into midfield. The carry from Ruth Campbell.
Tackle release!
Goes to deck. Lane, Bottomer stepping back inside. Really well marshalled by Chu Gang. Clover's players offering themselves as carries, and the blue and white wall in front of them remains firm. And that one looks as though the poach is on, and it is. And it was Sophie Barrett, I think, this time around, who manages to get over that one and get the turnover. The tight head
3 first on the ball.
just waiting for it. You could see from her body language she knew it was coming, and that poach is perfect.
Yeah, really well, and as I said, they're picking their battles in that breakdown area. But what's happening is, when the Clovers lose their shape, that
Just
inside player is missing, and that's what's missing the clear out. And you could see Sophie Barrett spotted that, stayed her ground, didn't
Clovers, you take
get
the line.
herself involved in the tackle, and therefore was able to get in for the poach. So I feel like with this Clovers team as well, inside the 22, they need to slow things a little bit down, because their shape is going out the window and they're getting caught at breakdown time.
Off the top from the Wolfhounds inside their own 22. Surprising that Dana O'Brien didn't simply kick that, as Eve Higgins carries into contact and flattens yet another would-be tackler. This time O'Brien does put the boot on it. It's going to bounce in front of Bevan Parsons, and that is an absolutely immaculate kick from the 10, and what a fantastic exit.
Yeah, superb exit there. Is anyone with a boot like that, it just relieves so much pressure. You could see how relaxed, how composed she is. Even Parsons was on the 5-metre channel, and there was just no way of stopping it, as it just bounced right before the halfway line.
Oh yeah.
You could almost see Parsons rolling her eyes at that one as it bounced past her and into touch.
Yeah, I think there's a stoppage here. There's Eve Higgins, I think, is down in that clear out the last time. I think she might have taken a bit of contact, so hopefully she's all right. But no better woman to get up to her feet and go again.
I was just thinking the same thing. Eve Higgins seems to be made out of material the rest of us are not made out of. And up she gets. That was a massive carry. She has flattened a number of would-be tacklers already today.
Yeah, out here, especially on the touchline where we are, I think she got around 4 in a row there, and you're just wondering how it's that. She has an unbelievable fend off, and she's able to just use her footwork around that fend that stops the tackler in from getting in that low position.
She could teach lessons on it. Beth Bottomer criticising the gap being provided in this line-out as Clovers put numbers in. Taken really well off the top by McGrath, and into midfield it goes, and that is a huge carry and a smash from Ailish Quinn.
Don't push it into her, 7.
Lane goes out the back door for Flannery. Flannery, big looping skip past to Parsons, and Parsons breaks out of one would-be tackle.
No hands!
To the deck she goes. Lane again on it. The carry, up came the Wolfhounds line real fast.
No hands for Roxford.
There is some space behind as Fiona Hayes gestures to me, but it's still going to be the hands for the Clovers team. In they go. Jugang is on the wrong side, and advantage is available, and it's dinked over the top, and Faith Oviawe
No advantage.
couldn't get on it, and in fact it was quite smart for Faith Oviawe. Stopped so that she wouldn't be ahead of the kick, but killed any momentum she had of potentially getting onto that. Aoife Dalton sweeps it up, but the penalty is coming, and so Kate Flannery will have the chance to once again restart this Clovers set piece.
Yeah, and it's really well done by Emily Lane as well there at ruck time. You can see the Wolfhounds are on the wrong side. He let it go for a couple of times, but as every good 9 should do, let him see that they're slowing things down, and eventually he had to give it that time. But unfortunate with the kick from Kate Flannery, the 2 wingers had dropped back for a pass, and I felt like if Anna McGann had flattened up, she might have contested that as well.
Bottomer's line out, surely going to be aimed once again at Evine O'Reilly, Evine McGrath, and it was aimed at Evine McGrath, but aimed too much at Evine McGrath. So crook it in. Referee offers the scrum or the line out to the Wolfhounds, and considering the front row that they have at their disposal, they have gone for the scrum.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate because it's just slightly to the left hand side of the jumper, and it's obviously with today's laws the hookers might get away with it if there was even a slight lift, but the Wolfhounds stayed down to try and defend that maul. So you can see the frustration on Beth Buttimer, but I'm sure she'll make up for it in her next carry or clear out.
Set.
The feed from Riley, that's a huge shove from the Clovers, much better, but taken out the back eventually by the Wolfhounds, and Riley has it into hands. It's Dane O'Brien. The skip pass is picked off. Well, the knock-on was there. Genuine attempt to catch as the referee, so no penalty, and the advantage is over. Robin O'Connor's dink in behind is collected in the backfield, and a lovely little step out of that by Anna McGann. To the deck she goes. That's a good flat pass, inviting carrying players into the contact. Wolfhounds are ready and waiting for these passes, though they're so organised in defence.
Hold in front.
The boot splitting the 2 defenders in the backfield as Larn goes to collect. Has O'Brien outside and pops it up for her, and Dane O'Brien on the switch is going to have all the time in the world to put a big left boot on that. It's massive. It's bouncing and heading towards the touchline, and it is bounced just outside the 22. For a tick, I thought it might be a 50-22. It's just outside, but once again, Dane O'Brien's left boot. What an asset to have in a team.
Well, I think that kick that went dead from the penalty since then, she's obviously was frustrated with that. She's just put in some unbelievable kicks, and they're all from an exit as well, so it's the pressure off anybody. And with the way the Clovers line out is going as well, it gives her pack a chance to put pressure on them at line out time.
Bottomer heads to the back, and it's really well taken. And Faith Oviawe is on the carry. Hasn't had many options or opportunities to show what she can do on the ball. The Connacht back row as it's dropped into the pocket for Flannery. Flannery aims that kick. It's really well collected by Larn, and Larn sets off, looks for a gap and goes outside of one tackle, but absolutely murdered at the second time of asking. And Anna McInerney, I think that time around, as Dane O'Brien gets hands on it, pops it to Grace Moore, collects it at the second time of asking. To ground she goes. Riley. Big carry. And the Wolfhounds starting to queue up here as Dane O'Brien goes out the back door and finds Higgins. Higgins stepping and floating it outside, and Larne collects it, and Larne passes it, and it's all going to be all the way into the corner. And that is superb basic stuff, but really well executed. And Niamh Marley is the player who touches it down, the winger. Dane O'Brien on the pull back into the second layer of the attack. Higgins with intent. Larne joining the line, and Marley finishes it. It's a superb team try, Fiona.
Yeah, just a really good try as well. You could see that there was space on the outside, but the ability of Eve Higgins, dummy switch here and pop out. Watch Amy Larne, she just holds her line, squares up that last defender and puts Niamh Marley away. Very, very hard to stop when there's so many options on at that gain line. You can see the Clovers are struggling to make those decisions on whether to hit or whether to fan out, and therefore there's lots of space out wide.
It is the kind of try that you could show at training as an example of, if you do the basics well, it's not impossible but very difficult to defend.
Yeah, and that's it, Dan. Even with my own teams, it's the basics that are needed. That squaring up, that options on, just making it look like it just makes everything so harder to defend, and that drift taking out of those carries just is huge.
Both Higgins and Larne fixed their defenders and delayed that pass to the last possible second. And they did it.
9.
That's the space created.
Later or not, I'm happy with it, but just be careful.
And Marley reaps the benefits. But that was very much a team try as the Wolfhounds,
the last one I thought was in the motion
get
of the pass,
into a
but
17-0.
Sorry. Yeah.
And Flannery will kick the Clovers off again. It's not going to go 10 though. That one hung in the air and bounces into touch.
So not 10.
Anna McCann
Scrum.
thought about it for a second and decided to leave that one alone. And so the scrum will be at the halfway kickoff mark. 14 minutes still to go in this half. You would imagine, Fiona, the Clovers, if they're going to be in this at all, they need to get something out of those 14 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be going into half time 3-4 tries down. So certainly I think possession wise, I spoke about it, they're good at exiting, but when they get inside maybe between the 10 metre and the 22, they've turned over the ball 3-4 times, which takes the chances away, because the whole stadium is lighting up when Bevan Parsons get on the ball. They just need to try find her.
Scrum in midfield is out the back door they go, and Dane O'Brien showing great hands yet again, not going to the boot that time. That's a massive tackle on Robin O'Connor, who lets it go and picks it back up again. This time it is complete.
Good, no hands. Good contest.
Really good effort from both as the referee applauds the ability. Riley to O'Brien, O'Brien to Linda Dugang. 2 required as Beth Buttermer tries the rip. Sight McGrath thought she was on that one. Dane O'Brien into midfield, and India Daly goes on the carry. Riley comes back on this near side and once again finds Dugang. Ruth Campbell doing the captain's work, making the tackle stick. Higgins to Dalton. Aoife Dalton sliding through the gap, and Clovers just about managed to get hands on her as Lane pops it up for King. And now once again Dane O'Brien pulling the strings, slices through, gets the offload. India Daly's on the break, heading towards the line, and India Daly is going to finish. Dane O'Brien sliced through the defence. Daly with the support line, and the lovely offload from Dane O'Brien. No one to get hands on India Daly. She gets her second score of the game underneath the posts. And that, well, it's a good try from the Wolfhounds, but questionable defence from the Clovers.
Yeah, it's just here. You can see between Beth Buttermer and Ruth Campbell that Dana spots that their hips are turned. She's able to attack that inside shoulder, and India Daly, she's so dynamic at hooker. She's almost like a back rower out there, and obviously they're running that support line, and just a brilliant finish.
Well, those support lines crucial.
Good work, lads.
And again,
good work when we
the
get
basics
okay? Let's keep it up, let's keep working hard.
Are what you need to see. And the Wolfhounds are executing theirs to absolute perfection, and they have the bonus point try secured in under half an hour.
Yeah, look, and I think as a management from that perspective, you'd be really disappointed with that. We spoke about the try beforehand. They're finding space on the outside, but to just break through a team like that, they need to really get their connections right in defence, because there has been a number of missed tackles, and it's all been in that internal area.
This Clovers team is a very, very good team. We know that there are internationals of top quality, but the Wolfhounds so far are making them look pretty pedestrian.
Time is off anyway.
Yeah, now in saying that, the Wolfhounds, I think that loss to Britain Thunder is obviously, you've seen how they've rejuvenated themselves. We see that maybe there might be a change here for the Clovers with Ava O'Flynn coming on, but certainly I feel like that they need to probably up that game and, you know, try and hold on to the ball and get attack together, because the Wolfhounds are lethal in attack.
We do have time off as the referee waits for some treatment.
That's Aoibhinn McGrath, I think, is injured. She seems to be coming off there with Ava O'Flynn coming on.
They're doing
Aoibhinn McGrath is coming out
for 9 Clovers.
And Emily Lane is also, I think,
that looks like a lens to me in an eye.
contact lens, yeah. It seems to be putting back in a contact lens, and Emily Lane will come back into the team, but I think Aoibhinn McGrath's race is run for today.
Katie Whelan is on, so Emily Lane, there must be a more serious injury with her eye. It's her nose.
Emily Lane, it's a blood substitution. She's holding her nose, not her eye, and so a blood substitution as Emily Lane comes out. And her replacement as the blood sub is Katie Whelan. The kickoff aimed at Corey, who collects it really well in the backfield and looks up and sees what's on, and there's a little step back inside, hint of high but not enough. Anna McGann on the carry steps out of the first tackle. To deck she goes. Nisha Smith won't be very happy with that effort. Dropping into the pocket, and the boot goes on it. It's sliced. It's going to drop for Dana O'Brien, and O'Brien puts her left boot on it. That one's an excellent kick, aimed all the way down but collected really well from Enya Brain kicking that one up and collected by Riley, and Riley looks for Larne, and Amy Larne sets off, and you're starting to wonder, and is that one almost picked off? Faith Oviawe collects it, and the break is on for Oviawe, looking to get the offload and can't. What a tackle from Eve Higgins to prevent that, and the Clovers with Ruth Campbell on the carry.
No hands, stick, Ace! You're on the ground first.
Flannery into midfield, and Adams Verling spilling it forward. Pass was just in front of her. She reaches a little bit, and the ball spilled forward. Grace Moore and Aoife Corey coming together on the ground, and Moore just checking, are you okay? I hope I didn't kick you in the head.
Yeah, Aoife Corey, I think she's got a kick in the hand there, but look, that happens. But what a great break out on the other side. We can see here, referee said hands away, but Clovers just look a little congested. I feel like maybe should have caught that pass. It was a lovely skip pass by Kay Flannery. Need to up this tempo, I think, because the Wolfhounds defence are just fanning out and are able to make these tackles, and the Clovers in particular need to try and get to an edge. They probably should have gone up back, and then they would have created some space on the other side.
Ball spills out the back of the scrum, and Riley goes off and finds the pop-up for Dalton, and Dalton slices through the defence as two defenders popping it outside for Higgins. Higgins is going to go all the way to the corner. Is she going to be caught? What a superb tackle just shy of the line. Ball still available for Wolfhounds through the hands. It's carried to the try line, and it is finished. The score from Erin King, finishing over the try line after a magnificent break from Dalton. A massive carry from Higgins heading for the corner. It was an outstanding covering tackle, but too many blue and white jerseys pouring through, and Erin King gets the score, the 5th try of the game for the Wolfhounds, stretching their lead to 29-0. For the Clovers, it is looking increasingly like a very, very long day ahead.
Yeah, you can see there just under replay, both players bit in, and Aoife Dalton, no better woman to find space. But watch Eve Higgins here, Alana's chasing her down. Unbelievable from Parsons. She gets hands on her, stops her right before the try-line. But it's how quick they speed up. Aoibhinn Riley's there, a little pop to Erin King, who's always going to go over from that. And that's the kind of tempo the Clovers need to add to get into those positions. It's just so hard to defend.
The supporting lines again from the Wolfhounds. The work off the ball from some of these Wolfhounds players absolutely outstanding, as Dane O'Brien adds the extras.
But I'm not stopping it.
Left-footed through the posts to take the score out to 31 points to nil. And it's one of those days where everything the Wolfhounds touch turns to gold, and they are absolutely irresistible when they're playing like this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to watch, and you know, a day like this I think suits them as well. And Dana's kicking game has been unbelievable, but there's going to be such disappointment in that Clovers dressing room at half time and how they've performed so far.
Moore on the collect from her knees, collects and goes off, sits down a defender to Jugang, showing some hands to go out the back door, and Dalton has hands on it again, and once again slides through the defence, bursting through the would-be tacklers, stepping back inside. Cover tackle is eventually made inside the Clovers half, but there are blue and white jerseys queuing up on the outside if Lane can get to them quick. If Riley, can get to them quick. And Dane O'Brien has hands on it, stepping outside of the defenders, stepping back inside of Breen, but the cover tackle is there. The work rate from these Wolfhounds players is phenomenal. Jugang is on the carry, breaking out of one tackle and ripped, says the referee. Riley is on the deck after she had collected. The drive over is outstanding, and Beth Buttimer does really well. Outstanding work from Beth Buttimer and from the ruck that led to that turnover. The boot drops for Amy Larne, and Larne sets off yet again, looking for gaps in what's in front of her, and that's a better tackle. Ball ripped, and the ball is available. The referee is telling Aaron King to take the hands off. The little dink from Lane is a good one. It bounces up though, and it's collected by Larne yet again. Huge tackle. Parsons puts the hit on, and they drive over, but Linda Jugang picks and goes to clean up the mess. And the Wolfhounds still brimming with energy. The offload isn't great, but Barrett collects.
Release!
She goes to deck inside the Clovers half. Clovers upping the intensity somewhat in defence, and it's a little bit better, and Dane O'Brien says I've had enough, and puts a lovely little crossfield kick, and it's superb kick, very nearly into hands, and bounces out. And for just half a tick, I think Niamh Marley thought she was going to collect that and walk to the finish line.
Yeah, it was beautiful weighted kick there. Very unfortunate not to catch it, but to be fair to Anna McGann, she was also there waiting for her to nail her. But look, you could see, you spoke about it, Dan, they are up in the aggression in defence, and especially around that ruck area. They're counter rucking. Beth Buttimer got a really good turnover there, so they need to go after that to try and slow down this Wolfhounds ball, because with that ball going and that speed, very, very hard for them to defend.
Sive McGrath gives Buttimer the orders. It's to the tail. It's a really good contest, and it's stolen in the air, and Aaron King goes off, spinning into midfield for Grace Moore. Moore to O'Brien. There's numbers queuing up as Higgins gets hands on it and looks to go through the gap, and does go through the gap and gets hands, and it's out to O'Connor, and Robin O'Connor is going to go all the way to the try line, finishing in the corner, bursting out of a tackle. Robin O'Connor, and once again Eve Higgins crucial in the midfield, delays the pass perfectly, and Robin O'Connor finishes in the corner. And we said it already, we'll say it again, everything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah, what a try. I spoke about speed about. Look at it, Robin O'Connor's finish on the outside, unbelievable. But it's Eve Higgins again who's at the centre, that just drawing defenders. Great steal by Nisha Smith at the line out. Aaron King wants that quick ball. Grace Moore moves it again, and it's here. Eve Higgins straightens up, carries that fend that I talk about. Lil Pop, and no better woman than Robin O'Connor to score in the corner. She's another player who's been out with injury, and delighted to see her back. Looking at getting inside that Irish squad. I think that will be announced or will be named next week, because she's been some talent in this Celtic Cup.
Doing her chances of selection no harm, getting her name on the scoreboard. And though Higgins had done an awful lot of work, there was still work to do for Robin O'Connor in that particular play. It wasn't on a plate for her by any means, and she finishes very well in a crowd of defenders.
Yeah, just feet are unbelievable. It's those dancing feet. I had her at club for the start of the season before this Celtic challenge, and every game she played I just came off and said as a head coach, wow, just unbelievable at finding space, and it's her footwork. So 36 points to nil. We said some time ago that the Clovers needed to get something out of this to prevent a very, very long day at the office. There's only 2.5 minutes left.
it's kicked off and into hands. Smith again. Really well received. Bottomer making a nuisance of herself as Riley goes back to Dana O'Brien, and O'Brien puts the left boot on it, aims that one at Aoife Corey, and it bounces into touch. And like we've said it, I don't want to belabour a point. You can't say it all day, but it is worth noting there's absolutely no pressure for this Wolfhounds team when they know they have a 10 who can deliver that kind of exit time and time and time again.
Yeah, it's outstanding. Obviously she's been playing with Ireland, so at that high level we've seen it week in, week out, but she's getting better every time I watch her. More control, more composure when she's kicking it, and that was just fantastic.
Once again the Wolfhounds steal the Clovers line out, and once again they're going to go on the attack, looking through hands, and Grace Moore, always available throughout the opening half in this game, carries and absorbs some defenders. She releases and picks it up again.
No hands!
Referee urging the Clovers players not to get their hands involved, and out the back door, and O'Brien is on the loop. Is she going to buy the defender? She has brought back inside as Larn steps through the tackles. That really good work from Ailish Quinn to bring her to ground. Riley, Barrett,
Into the side.
once again Riley so quick to those breakdowns, and the speed of the pass is outstanding as well. It's giving the Wolfhounds a huge platform on every visit to the 22. O'Brien, little show and go, and Oviawe makes the tackle, doesn't hold her though. And the referee, well, there's this time around the turnover is good, and it had to be Alana McInerney getting over that one. Then O'Brien skipped out of the pass from Oviawe, goes to deck, and the ball exposed allows McInerney to get hands on it and turn it over. And considering how efficient the Wolfhounds have been in the 22, that's a pretty good return for the Clovers this time around.
Yeah, look, I think she'll be, Dana O'Brien will be disappointed with that. She fell on her back, but it gave the chance for the Clovers, and as I said, at ruck time they've upped the tempo, upped the pace, and they're contesting, but they need to nail this line out now, and possibly even attack from where they are, not just kick it away coming up to half time.
They go to the tail, and that's really well done and taken off the top, and for the Quinn to carry up to the edge of the 22.
Ball is there. Don't push it into her. Inside.
It is inside.
Inside.
Brought back. Flannery's boot bouncing in front of Marley, who collects it. She's looking at what's in front of her rather than what's outside her, because Larn was on the supporting line that time around.
Advantage. 6 not rolling. Allowing player on.
And so there is an advantage to the Wolfhounds, and we'll see them get at least one more attack before this half-time whistle goes. The referee,
2 penalties.
little tap and go from Riley, and Riley looking to attack, comes back on the inside. The pass is good. Are there options waiting? Little step from India Daly on her hat-trick, looking to break through. Clover slowing things down somewhat into midfield, and the ball spilled forward. That's the knock-on.
First one. Second one.
And if we have gone over the 40 minutes, we have not. The referee says we will get a chance to put in here, and you would imagine that the Clovers can't wait for that half-time whistle.
Yeah, I'd imagine be a straight exit here, but look, you can see exactly the tempo, what they're trying to bring. Aoibhinn Riley was dragged into the ruck, got given a penalty, and was still able to get herself to the ground, tap it, and run 10 metres. That pace is absolutely killing the Clovers, and they're trying to get their hands free, and they're really aiming to get to an edge to find a space out there. But you have to say, the Wolfhounds players in particular have been fantastic in this half.
Well, the error count for the Wolfhounds is practically 0. There's a penalty coming. That's the commentator's curse. I said the error count was 0, and there's the referee's whistle.
That's always the way, isn't it, Dan?
I'd like to apologise to the Wolfhounds front row. I think I did that to them. Flannery finds touch outside the 22, and well, you said it a while ago, Fiona, they're going to need to attack from here. They're going to need to attack from everywhere. Everything has to be attacked from here. They've got the half-time whistle coming. If it was you, would you want to see that one taken off the top and put into touch?
I would have kicked directly from touch on the penalty, just get him in at half-time and have a chat. But then you've got to love the character of the Clovers as well. They want to give it a crack. They want to go after it and have one last chance before half-time.
A couple of fakes before it's taken, and once again it's Eva O'Flynn who gets up. Flannery with the tackle. Is that one high? Referee has not got the hand out, and so it is not. Lovely little break is on though, and it's bursting through the midfield, and suddenly it's opening up. And Adams Verling was on the carry. What pace she had for the back row forward. Slow ball coming back. Bottomer acting as scrum half, spinning it out. McGrath to ground she goes.
Roll away!
Penalty advantage coming. And Lane tapping it and going suddenly and wide. She has a little sprint back inside, popping it outside. O'Flynn stepping back inside up to the 22.
No hands!
To ground she goes. Lane comes on the blind side, finds McGann, excuse me. And there's another penalty coming, and the referee, I think, may be issuing a warning here. He's calling.
Yeah, I think that was Nisha Smith maybe there with hands on the ground, and that's been a couple. So I would imagine Emily Lane is telling the referee every breakdown that she's at that they're trying to slow it down. But you can see when the Clovers lift that tempo with that pace, they can play that exciting brand of rugby. It's just trying to keep that tempo going now.
Happy?
It's excellent work from Jemima Adams Verling on the initial break, and also outstanding from the replacement Elo Flynn. And so last play, the referee tells the teams inside the Wolfhounds 22, and a chance for the Clovers to get on the scoreboard. Thus far, they have found a blue and white wall, unwilling to move. Two fakes to the tail. O'Flynn takes it. It's crooked, but there was no contest. Bottomer foraging at the back.
Advantage.
Nisha Smith told to stay out, and there is an advantage coming, and Flannery has to collect a loose pass, and it's behind Corey.
No advantage.
No advantage, says the referee. We're coming back.
I wonder, is there a yellow card here? I think it was Linda Zhugang came through. If he did pre-warn them, but it doesn't look like he is, and say maybe another chance for Linda.
Number 1, side entry and collapse.
The referee quite clear about what was done there, and he had given a team warning, so you wonder what the logic is not going to the pocket, but
you always have to be kinder to the props, I think, on the pitch. So
you would say that. Fiona Hayes and the front row union propaganda again.
Propaganda, I love it.
That's right.
Yeah, look, I think Ruth Campbell seems to be down here with maybe a cramp, but certainly the last couple of lineouts for the Clover have worked really well. There's been a couple of dummy jumps and they're hitting the tail. The Wolfhounds haven't contested, so that gives them a chance. Maybe they might vary it up now with that and get someone around the corner because they're sucking into that ball. So you might see maybe someone running a line around the back here.
I've seen on the Wolfhounds line-out plays, they stack midfield with back row forwards. Not so for the Clovers. It's a big line-out. O'Flynn takes, and it is a little trick play as Jemima Vernon goes for it. Tackle was good though. Bottomer over the top of her own back row. There's a lot of complaints at the deck of that. Eve O'Flynn looking to go around the corner. Clovers still have. This is much more controlled from the visiting team than we've seen in the opening 40 minutes. Pick and go from Campbell.
No hands, Wolfhounds.
Lane on the outside. It looked like it was there from Anna McGann, and McGann bundled into touch, and McGann is fuming with the referee. There was two blue and white jerseys standing directly in front of her, and she's perhaps protesting that they were not in an onside position. Either way, the referee says that's that for that half, and so the teams leave the pitch in quite a hurry to get off. It seems. Sum that one up for us, Fiona.
Yeah, look, I think what it was an absolute dominant first half by the Wolfhounds. Set piece was very good. I thought the likes of Linda Zhugang, their open play running, Grace Moore getting their hands on the ball. There was variety in how they attacked. They went wide, they went narrow, and I think Dan O'Brien's kicking game has just been absolutely outstanding and is standing for them. But you have to say the Clovers will be disappointed in how they defended, and very, very unlucky, I suppose, not to get that try right on the death of that first half there.
They might have deserved a little bit more than 0, but 0 is all they have. It's been impressive from start to finish for the Wolfhounds, led ably in their attack by Dana O'Brien and Eve Higgins at the centre of all good things that they're doing in the attack. The score is 41 points to 0 at half time. We're going to be bringing you some highlights from yesterday's clash between Glasgow and Edinburgh in the final round fixture between the two Scottish sides, and after that highlights package you can rejoin us again for full coverage of the second half live from the UCD Bowl. Stay with us, we'll be back very shortly.
Pullman again on that ball.
9 off feet.
9 off feet. Edinburgh have the advantage. Kat Moody, she means business as well today.
Sorry.
Emily Loves know there's numbers out there. It's a lovely pass out. And it's a superb finish by Hannah Walker. We were just talking about her try scoring and all she has to offer, and it's come to fruition there.
Yeah.
First try for Edinburgh.
Really, really nice bit of play there from Edinburgh. Yeah, we've talked a lot about Hannah Ramsey and how good she is. Those defenders beaten. She's sitting at 27 this far in this tournament. There's 28 and 29 that we've seen so far tonight. So she makes that break. She glides through. She probably could have had an option inside and outside. I think we're a little bit slow to get there in support, but really good close quarters. Carries there from the forwards, getting them over the gain line, and then Emily Love knows when to release that. Lovely ball from Nicole Marlowe, who gives it to Bethan Matheson, who gives it to that try
strong
scorer.
in those positions.
And that's something we've talked a lot about. She's such a strong ball carrier, but she's also brilliant in defence.
Good line out there by Edinburgh. Kat Moody again breaking through. What a run by Kat Moody into the 22. Strong ball carry. Glasgow desperately trying to slow this one down, and again it's Bethan Matheson on the ball, and it's a superb try out in those wide channels. Bethan Matheson, her second try for Edinburgh, and her second try for Edinburgh tonight.
Yeah, really good bit of play there from Edinburgh. You can see how they've got the momentum. It all comes from that break from Kat Moody in the midfield. She's such a strong ball carrier. She gets over the gain line, and then Emily Love, Nicole Marlowe, they spot that space is on wide. Really nice ball here from Rachel Phillips to Bethan Matheson, and over in the corner. Really, really nice bit of play there from Edinburgh.
Really unselfish by Hannah Walker as well. She could have, but she let the ball glide across the face of her.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice hands there from Nicole Marlowe.
Again, Alison Wilson, Natasha Logan just spoiling everything. And it's turnover ball for Edinburgh.
Restore, play.
And again it's the counter up, but it's free. Ball's free. Sophie Murphy first to react. Great take by Sophie Murphy. Has she got the legs? Has she got the power? She has. What a start to the second half by Glasgow Warriors. Try Sophie Murphy. All power.
I'm not sure what was said at half time, but Glasgow have come out looking like a different team. They are carrying hard. They are clearing defenders out of the way, and it was a really good bit of reaction here. Edinburgh were in there. They were trying to...
Good scrum by both. Glasgow holding, and it's an absolutely massive take by Kat Moody, and it's a carbon copy of the try she scored last week at the Hive for face of that scrum.
Yeah, we know how strong a ball carrier is. We talked about her in the pre-match build-up. She's come from rugby league. She is so strong in that short quarters. You see her here control the ball really well, spots the gap. That fend's nice and strong, but it's the leg drive through the contact that gets her over the line. Really nice bit of play there from Kat Moody.
Yeah, she scored a try like that 3 minutes in last week against the Clovers. Set Edinburgh up to the fore there. And again, Holland Bogan coming through.
Not isolate the ball.
The closing stages of the game when she comes really alive. Lovely pass back inside by Millie Warren. No obstruction call, and it's a Millie Warren try. Try number 2 for Glasgow Warriors by Millie Warren. What a try!
Yeah, great bit of play there from Glasgow. They're resourcing their rucks better. They're getting quicker ball, and then the backs are showing what they can do. Lines everywhere. There was no obstruction called by the referee, and Millie Warren showing why she's Glasgow's top point scorer. You see, ball here from Derek. Katie Ainsworth gives the ball to Brian McNamara. That inside no-look pass. Poppy Mellenby's there on a support as well, but Millie Warren's got the strength to go over. Really good bit of play there from Glasgow and sticks them straight back into this game.
And it's a massive kick, and it's a great kick by Millie Warren. What a penalty by Millie Warren to level the scores. 17 points each after 73 minutes. What a game.
Yeah, she's cracking off the tees, Millie Warren. She's just proved why she's Glasgow's top point scorer. She's fantastic, even from that far out. That's on the 10-metre line. That's a 40-metre kick, and she slotted it.
Natasha Logan, and it's gone back out right, and it's Hannah Ramsey charging for that try line. Pip Benson again, just with the calmness. Kaylee Fraser was not, and she's denied the first time, she's got it this time. Our 4th try for Edinburgh, Kaylee Fraser.
My goodness me, Scarlett Haddle, take a bow off that goal line dropout from Brian McNamara. She weaves her way from the 10-metre line deep into the 22. She then gives her forwards a fantastic opportunity. They carry really hard. You see here, Hannah Ramsey, player of the match. She drives into that space. She gives the best chance that she possibly can. And then Kaylee Fraser, as you say, denied that first time. Route 1 this time, slightly in on the angle to power her way over the line. Really nice bit of play there from the Edinburgh team.
Kaylee Fraser with the try. And player of the match, Hannah Ramsey, with the conversion. Just came off the post there. And that's full time here at Scotstoun Stadium for this derby match. Glasgow Warriors 17, Edinburgh 22. Such a great start by Edinburgh. They've got 4 tries to Glasgow's 2, and a massive win for them in this derby match.
At the moment, I think it's 4. You want to stay on 4-5, I think. I can't fucking see it. No, fucking tell me that. Yeah, 4-6. That's better. Okay. I couldn't do anything. That's close enough to what we have. Yeah, it's the sun coming in and it's changing. If it hits the lens, it's different. I'm sure you're pointed there. That way. Yeah. I think that looks close to ours. That'll do. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome back the Clovers.
The Clovers making their way back out onto the pitch. I would wonder, from a coaching perspective, Fiona, what kind of conversation have they had at half-time?
Look, I think you obviously have to keep the positivity within the bunch going. They'll know, obviously, they'll have another crack, hopefully, if they can get there. They've qualified for that semi-final, and if they can put in a big performance there, they'll have another go at them over in Edinburgh. But certainly, I think the biggest thing here with this team is to keep back in what they're doing, but they've just got to speed the tempo up and really look after the ball on the ground. Otherwise, there'll be massive frustration. You could be looking at a 60-70 point deficit, that can kill a team going into a semi-final.
Is there anything defensively they can do to counteract what Dane O'Brien offers in terms of the Wolfhounds? Should there be more pressure put on that 10?
Yeah, look, a lot of the kicking obviously is from exits, and you can see how good she is because she can get deep, no one can get near her, and her trajectory of the ball is excellent. But certainly from my perspective, I'd be looking at trying to slow the ball down in a legal way. I think they're being very honest at the breakdown. They're getting up, they're fanning out, and what's happening is the Wolfhounds, when they get that quick ball, they're realigning, they're set, and they're good to go, and I think it's absolutely killing the Clovers. So yes, it's a funny area. People always ask, how do you slow down the ball legally? But it just means tackling hard, maybe double hits, getting your hand across the ball, stopping the offloads, little things are like that, and themselves, they will have to up the tempo.
I can see in front of me Vicky Elms-Kinlan is on. I think Robin O'Connor, as race is run for today, having got her name on the scoreboard. Dane O'Brien kicks off the second half, and it's collected by Breen, who steps back inside. That's a really good little step back inside, and making some yards for the Clovers, looking to start positively in this second half. Spun to Bottomer. Bottomer gets a lovely little offload away, and it's knocked on, unfortunately. Thought that offload was good, and then the ball spilled forward, and that was a good start, brought to a halt.
Yeah, frustration around that. You can see what Beth is trying to do. She gets her hand free. Ailish Quinn is just outside her and unfortunately knocks it on. But look, they're trying things, as I said, they're trying to keep the ball alive. They're running it now from inside. Brilliantly done by Enya Breen. But it's just, as I said, that hands, that contact area, they have to knuckle down on that.
Confirmation that it is Robin O'Connor who has gone out and Vicky Elmskillen is in, and that is a much better tackle from the Clovers. Dana O'Brien swallowed whole.
On the body, not on the ball. Ball is available.
Ball is available, referee says, as Clovers come pouring through and looking to ruck.
Ball is there for Clovers, don't go over the top.
It is rucked over, and that's much better from the Clovers, showing their aggression as Lane goes back to Flannery. Flannery puts a lovely kick over the top. The chase needs to come on as it bounces into the 22 and heads all the way for the try line. Is it going to stand up before the try line? Just tipped over the try line and touched down in the backfield by Larne. And that better from the Clovers in terms of their aggression. Dana O'Brien caught in possession. It's the first time we've seen any indecision from the 10, hesitating just a moment and getting punished for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alana McInerney there just getting in and absolutely nailing her. It was unbelievable hit, and therefore the pressure came on big time. Certainly something was said at half time, because you can see they're absolutely up in that aggression.
Again, another good carry into midfield is Strong, and once again Bottomer offers herself, goes, and not held, says the referee, but this time around stopped. There are numbers for Clovers if they can move it, and Quinn has it, can't get her arms away to get the offload. Lane down the blind side again. Corey stepping back inside, needs the support from O'Flynn, gets it. Lane on the deck, goes to McGrath. McGrath is on the carry, gets over the gain line. Lane moving it quick. Flannery, Bottomer once again. Beth Bottomer popping up. And there's an offside coming.
Good turnover.
Beth Bottomer doing the work.
Blue never back on side.
Well, this is a better tempo from the Clovers. Lane taps it and goes. McGrath's on the carry, smashes and gets over the gain line, needs to present ball and does. Flannery has hands on it, skips the pass outside, really well collected by Bevan Parsons, looking to get for the line, can't, stopped short.
Ball is there, ball's available.
Jemima Adams-Verling providing the cover, it's picked and it goes. Bottomer on the charge.
And let it come, go, let it come. Good, ball available.
Ball is available, it's picked and it's gone on this side, and it's not over the line yet, still short. Lane, chance of a snipe, whips the pass out, and it is finished by Bevan Parsons. Bevan Parsons gets the try.
Nice, yeah.
Lane thought about the snipe and instead spins it out, and we knew they were going to come out with something in the second half. That's a much better tempo and much better work rate from the Clovers, and they get the reward.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant by the Clovers to come out, and just the continuity in play. Big hard lines run by Sive McGrath, Ailish Quinn with a couple of carries, Alana McInerney, as I said, making that hit, and Dana to start it all off. They'll be delighted with that. And what you notice as well then is that tempo was lifted. When they up that pace and up that tempo, it's very hard for any defence, but they were too predictable in that first half.
Certainly better start this time round. That kick is good, but doesn't, well, the direction was good, but lacking the power, doesn't make it to the posts, and so 5 it remains. 36 points to 5. Is the comeback on?
Yeah, look, I think if the comeback isn't on and they can keep this tempo, keep this pace, absolutely go after the breakdown like they have in the second half, they'll be delighted with how the outcome comes at the finish. But they've just got to get a good 40 minutes here and maybe get a couple more tries against the Wolfhounds. But I'm not sure about a full comeback. But look, we heard the France score there. You can score 40-50 points in a game.
Kickoff from Dana O'Brien is good. It's really contestable and puts pressure on Ruth Campbell. Referee says no hands to Aaron King.
Release one.
And the Jew gang being urged to step off as Lane goes into midfield, and Flannery puts a nice high hanging one, aims that one, collected by Marnie, knocks it backwards, says the referee, and looking to go through some gaps, and tackle by O'Flynn is good. Wolfhounds have, and this is their first opportunity to see what they can do with ball in hand as Jugan goes carrying. Always a willing carry threat. The pass missing, O'Brien into contact. Wolfhounds happy to go as Moore takes it. McGrath with the hit. Riley spins it out to O'Brien, who's caught in possession a little bit, and goes back for Dalton, and Dalton driving her legs, looking to get forward. Better counter ruck, and the ruck is really good, but taken on. Barrett goes on the carry, the tight head prop, getting extra yards, an inch or so on the ground. The referee's missed it as O'Brien puts a big, high hanging contestable kick up. 2 players underneath it, tapped back as O'Flynn collects. Can she get the offload? Goes to ground and keeps it instead. Lane trying to organise her players, and they break on. McInerney looks to go inside and can't, or Enya Breen, I think, and caught in possession, holding on. It was Jemima Adams-Verling on the deck, and that perhaps the wrong option in terms of passing.
Yeah, look, I think there'll be a little bit of frustration as well in how the ball carrier's fallen and that fight on the ground. You can see any good poacher, and that's been a couple. I think is it Aaron King? No, it's Eve Higgins. Of course it is Eve Higgins. But there's been, what you'll notice is when they flop into contact, those guards are so good and so parallel and low to the ground that they get on the ball instantly and are hard to remove.
Well, as we said, Eve Higgins does seem to be made out of material that the rest of us mere mortals are not made out of. Moving her off the ball, proving to be a challenge. India Daly throws really well, taken off the top, and the maul is going to start making towards that Clovers line. Daly's at the back still, picks from the tail and goes, looking for her hat-trick try. Riley with the pop-up. Clovers having to work hard to keep Wolfhounds out. Grace Moore is on the carry once again, and Linda Jugang picks and goes and heads for the line. It's short, says the referee, just about. The try line is coming, and it is going to be finished. And they are just relentless when they get moving. And it is Erin King with her second try of the game, the number 8, running the support lines. That one made, I think, by Linda Jugang, tearing the ball from Grace Moore's hands, getting it to the line. The Clovers defence doesn't have enough time, and Erin King, well, try stopping her from a metre out, and the best of luck to you.
Yeah, just the continuity, the ruck speed, it's really, really hard to stop. So that's what I'm talking about when the Clovers give easy turnovers, you know, with that Diane O'Brien's boot and what they can do with that ruck speed. It's hurting them big time getting that turnover.
The extras are at it, as you would expect, from directly in front of the posts, taking the score to 43 points to 5. As Flannery kicks it off. That one looked how it might have been collected, and instead has been taken by the Wolfhounds when they thought that maybe the Clovers were going to be on this one. Instead, it's Wolfhounds who collect the possession. Drop back to Dane O'Brien.
Retreat in front, retreat.
That kick, contestable, and it bounces awkwardly, and Quinn lets it, and back into the hands of the Wolfhounds, and around the edges they go, looking for soft shoulders. Willing carriers yet again all over the park. Riley spins it to O'Brien. O'Brien to Higgins. Higgins steps back inside and breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles, takes it up to and over the halfway line, but it's been ripped in contact. Knock-on advantage is coming as Breen goes to ground. Clovers want this ball moved outside. Flynn, it's an awkward pass collected. McInerney goes, slides through. Dalton, her opposite number, makes the tackle.
Advantage over for knock-on.
Advantage is over. Through the hands they go, spinning it out to Bevan Parsons, and Parsons turns on the afterburners, finds Oviawe, and Oviawe spills it. Well, Parsons had done well to get an extra inch out of the tackle, and somehow Oviawe, not expecting that pass coming to hand, and spills it forward.
Wolfhounds, it was knocked on.
Yeah, really good over the head pass by Kate Flannery here. You can see, but brilliantly done by Enya. I think obviously the footwork of Eve Higgins is outstanding, but gets a great shot in and rips the ball, and in turn the Clovers get a good attack, and Parsons getting her hands free, but Oviawe wasn't waiting for that ball on the inside. Unfortunate for that knock on, just a fingertip away really.
So we go to the scrum yet again. These 2 front rows at this point very familiar with one another. There was a scrum late in the first half in which the Clovers got a big shove. They'll be looking to replicate that again, but it has been fairly even between the 2 sides thus far. Rock steady yet again. Riley picks it, flings it into midfield, and Higgins tipping the pass on, and all too easy really
Tackle!
for the Wolfhounds. This time making harder work of it. That's a big tackle. Offload is good. Riley flings it back to O'Brien. Dan O'Brien once again going to the sky, not looking for the distance, looking for contestability, and it's really well fielded, collected. The run back from Anna McGann, and now suddenly Parsons is on and looking to step this way and that as she can. The blind side is on. Lane through the gap, bursting, heading towards the 22. To the deck she goes. Bottomer picks. The offload is not good. Spilled forward. Beth Bottomer, single, one-handed, rolls it out of her hand, and it's an awkward one.
Yeah, look, it's batted down by the Wolfhounds, but you can see what Betchy, her arm was being pulled there. She's trying to get the Aaron King. She's trying to suck in both defenders, but maybe probably could have just carried, set it up. But look, they'll get a scrum to attack, a nice platform to attack off here.
Time off again.
We have got time off, the referee says. It's down on the deck. And it's a Wolfhounds player down, and I can't make out who, with the medical team in the way.
Yeah, that looks. Is that Aaron King or he?
Looks very uncomfortable.
Avian Riley. Oh, she's been absolutely outstanding this game, Avian Riley. Hopefully, it's just a pull at a calf or something.
Well,
what a player she's been.
She has shown everything you want to see out of a 9. The game management, the speed of the pass, the decision making has been absolutely immaculate from the Irish number 9. And if there's a scoreline 43-5, and there have been a number of outstanding players for the Wolfhounds, Avian Riley is in the mix as one of those top performers.
Yeah, that's good. She's up to her feet, but every game I speak about the tempo that the Wolfhounds bring, and it's all coming from her. She's absolutely superb at also scoop passing, sucking in defence, really attacking those inside channels, and just keeping the ball alive in general. What a player.
No, knock on by one.
There are options on the bench. Connor is ready to go, is warming up.
Yeah.
She may be going into the squad. As the officials, I think that is Aileen Riley's race run for the day. Good to see her on her feet, but she is walking very gingerly with the medical staff.
Who's it, Mark?
Yeah, I think this is Alex Connor. I think she's from Navan. It's good to see they have a few players, obviously not in the AIL, they're just below it, but some of those players, Rosie Searle on the Clovers as well, she's a young little 9 that's been floating around. I think the last few games we've seen Jade Gaffney on the bench. Alex Connor got on in the last game, but I'm certainly looking forward to seeing this girl grow. What a player.
Alex Connor is in, much bigger statue of a player. Ball is at the back of the scrum, and Jemima Adams-Verling goes. Grace Moore was waiting for her at the tail of that back of that scrum. There's a penalty coming. Grace Moore, Linda Dugan, yeah, it was Grace Moore not releasing.
6, no release.
Yeah, I thought she might have gone to the left. The scrum had seemed to wheel to the left, but she chose to go right. And I think it was Grace Moore that got up and made that hit. But look, obviously on the ground, then the Clovers got a penalty. But certainly they've tested that maul a few times. We've seen a trick line out to the front. I wonder will they bring something different to this one again.
There's a little inside and out, and there are back rows this time waiting. Faith Oviawe's back, but that ball is spilled by Flynn in the contact, and the Wolfhounds will go from their own try line, or at least try to go from their own try line. Back to Dana O'Brien, who shifts onto her left boot and gets the boot away. That, well, you know, Alex Connor's just on the pitch, so let's not be overly critical, but the delivery of the pass there, a little bit awkward for Dana O'Brien, and that service that she's been used to from Avian Riley now may not be coming to her quite as crisply.
Yeah, but look, it landed in the hands. But how many players can kick from just in the post and reach the 22 with an exit? Her ability to relieve that pressure, we've spoken about it so many times, Dan, but you can just see it in full flow today, and they are just so good at, when they turn over the ball, settling down, getting into their shape, and have the ability to put pressure now on the Clovers at line out time.
Make sure you stay on the mark that you're given. Okay, and you have 1 foot on the line.
So we see Kate Flannery coming off here for Niamh Murphy, so I'd imagine Enya Breen will go into that 10 shirt.
Murphy coming in, played at centre, and the line out overthrown, and once again the Clovers line out letting them down, and the Wolfhounds have. And we know that they can attack from absolutely anywhere. Dana O'Brien, though, decides she's putting boot on it again. She has done successfully all game long. That's really well collected by McGann, who steps out of the first tackle, goes to ground. Good rucking. Linda Shugang making a nuisance of herself as Quinn goes on the carry. Into deck she goes, and the ball is being ripped by Erin King. King gets the turnover. The ball comes loose. It's been knocked on. She got the turnover, was good, but then spilled forward. The Clovers have some distance to go. Step back inside from O'Flynn. Lane going down the blind side. Pass is not great, controlled by the boot of McGann. And the pressure from this Wolfhounds line speed is phenomenal. McCarthy on the carry. Lane finds Flannery. Outside it goes, and it's once again O'Flynn carrying into midfield. And a huge carry from McInerney. Alana McInerney doing really well as Lane goes into midfield, and Murphy is the pass. Her first option is out to Bevan Parsons. Parsons stepping inside at Dalton. Erin King makes the tackle. Lane onto Beth Buttimer and to O'Flynn again. So many carries for the replacement, and that's outstanding work from Sophie Barrett. Lane has to get hands on it, just about does, and it's spun out. And McCarthy again, and this time it's picked and gone from the base, and that's a very big carry, taking the ball into the Wolfhounds 22. Murphy nearly picked off, and through the hands it goes, and suddenly the try line is coming, and McGann is going to get over and finishes in the corner. Anna McGann, after a lovely offload, the pick from the base through the absence of a pillar, and the Clovers showing a little bit more of what they're capable of when they move that ball.
Yeah, really good finish by Anna McGann. You can see here in the replay that it's those big carries early doors. Enya straightens up. Aoife Corey has the ability to straighten up, suck in that last defender, Amy Larn, and Anna McGann in the corner with a little bit of downward pressure on the ball.
Well, she absolutely slammed that one into the ground. There's no question about that. Slam dunk of a try for Anna McGann.
Yeah, but it's just those simple 2v1s, really well done there and really executed by Aoife Corey. I'm not sure there was downward pressure, but look, the referee has called it.
I think there was. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Anyway, the referees are always right, so he's given it. So it's good though, the continuity, the pick and go by Siobhan McCarthy's had a couple of big carries as well in those phases, really getting past the gain line, which is what they weren't doing in that first half.
43 points to 10 then, and a second try for the Clovers as we head towards the 60-minute mark. 3/4 of the game. Bench is now going to have their impact and their say on how the rest of this game goes. Eve Higgins has come out, I think. Looks like Maggie Boylan is in as Clovers receive the kickoff. Emily Lane urging players to join the ruck. She wants it. The referee has called use. She has to go.
Retreat in front.
Breen with the kick, and that's an outstanding kick from Enya Breen all the way back into the Wolfhounds 22. A little bit of indecision from Dana O'Brien, but she lets it run in so that she can get that full kick on the full.
Keep coming for it. Always inside.
And it hits
the
halfway line.
Yeah, it's Clovers. I thought maybe Enya was trying to get that quick, but it did hit the flag and obviously was gone out. But yeah, I think Dan O'Brien there knew what she was doing. She waited for the ball to take a couple of bounces. She could see there was no line speed or no pressure coming on her, and then it gave her a chance to exit, so she gets them just outside the 10-metre line with that kick.
Now the Clovers line-out has been questionable is the word. To the tail, taken off the top. Jemima Adams-Verling and into midfield, and the screen runner was Faith Oviawe, and it was really good. It drew defenders, and the pop-up is for Murphy, and Murphy's trying to step this way and that. Can she get back inside? That's a really good take. The decoy run was bought. Advantage is coming, and the referee blows the whistle. And is he going to go for the card? I think that he is. There was a couple of warnings, maybe one too many.
Yeah, I think that's Regan Casey, who literally just came on probably about 5-10 seconds ago, but she gets the end of that team team card, we call that.
And off she goes, yellow card, the first of the game. And the Clovers have opted, in terms of that penalty, to go for the scrum and give their attacking platform. Super work from Faith Oviawe there. The decoy run was good. It was bought.
Yeah, it was, but we spoke about Anna McGann on her wing. There we see her. She came in off the wing. She got a lovely little run through and a beautifully pop pass to Niamh Murphy, who was outstanding running at speed and very unlucky not to beat Amy Larne in that backfield.
Well, Larne has been excellent today in attack, and we're seeing she's got the chops in defence too. Lane with the feed. Adams-Verling is at the back. Referee says use it. Lane through the hands, and Corey's on it, and Aoife Corey looking to step outside. That's a good scrag tackle to bring her to the ground. Clovers are narrow in the attack here, but they have managed to break through the tackles. Lane again finds McGran, tips it onto Bottomer. Bottomer finds McCarthy. McCarthy's heading towards the line. She's going to be held up. She is held up. The Wolfhounds, well, it's a 1-2-3 combo, or a 3-2-1 combo in that case. The front row's all involved. McCarthy gets over the line, but I believe Nisha Smith is underneath it and manages to hold her up.
Yeah, very well. They targeted the ball there. You could see the lovely pop pass by Beth Buttimer. Obviously, Siobhan caught it a bit high, and therefore you could see the Wolfhounds descended on that, dragged her over the line, and knew it would be a goal-out dropout now.
The dropout goes to Bevan Parsons, and Bevan Parsons breaking through and going to ground, and Lane into midfield. Bottomer, little show and go, finds a soft shoulder. Lane wants it, and it is spilled forward by Ruth Campbell and knocked on. And the Wolfhounds collect the ball inside their own 22. The referee says no advantage. Ruth Campbell keen to make up for her mistake, absolutely slaughtering inside in that breakdown, but knock on.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic by Ruth Campbell there. She's been everywhere today, just making tackles and giving offloads, trying to keep herself involved at line-out time as well. But unfortunately there you could see a little bit of exhaustion just when the ball came to her, a knock-on, and certainly done really well to counter-ruck there, slow it down and give her side a chance at scrum time to go after this Wolfhounds pack, because the last two scrums have been quite good from the Clovers.
And they have, I was just going to say it, Fiona Hayes, they have increased in power as the game has gone on, and the Clovers now getting the upper hand somewhat. That scrum is once again a big scrum, but it's picked from the base by Erin King, and King stepping outside of Oviawe, and the ball is ripped on the ground. Referee says play on. No knock on. The rip from Emily Lane. Ball is available back into the hands of Dana O'Brien, and O'Brien puts the left boot on it as she enjoys doing so much and takes the play up to the 10.
Yeah, I can see the Clovers bench there. They're absolutely frustrated with that. If the ball is ripped and it comes forward, it's obviously there for a knock-on. So, look, very unfortunate. They're not getting the rub of the green at the minute, but certainly have a platform now at line-out time, and we can see what you were talking about earlier. They've put a couple of loose forwards. We see Ailish Quinn and Faith out there. So hopefully it'll be a break around the front and maybe hit him on a set move.
To the tail, taken off the top really well by O'Flynn, and into midfield it goes, and Parsons is off her wing and sides almost through the defence. To ground she goes. Referee is saying 13 release. Aoife Dalton's not happy about it, but it's gone, and it's quick play, and it's through hands, and McGrath goes to ground and they're not back 10, and so the penalty comes up to the edge of the 22, and that's really clever from Emily Lane, as none of the Wolfhounds players had come back. And is he going for his pocket again? No, it's surely just a team warning here.
Yeah, I'd say he's just having a word. Unlucky by Aoife Dalton, she did get herself in. I wasn't sure if she was part of that tackle, but certainly she's letting him know. You can see the hands on the hip here that she's not too happy with that. But yeah, brilliant by Emily Lane. She just ups that tempo. The defence are retreating, and she gives herself and her team a second shot if things don't go right on that first one.
Erin King's captain instincts kicking in there, and she approaches the referee only to be told 8. That's fine, thank you. Back you go. Aoife Dalton also pleads her case. We do have time off, as there is a Clovers player down being treated.
Yeah, sound.
And I don't have a sight of the number. It looks like another blood injury. Bevan Parsons is going to come out. But what a replacement Bevan Parsons has. Chisholm Aguero, absolutely lightning quick, and a player with a step like you wouldn't believe. There is no drop off there in terms of the ability, bringing on a player like Chisholm Aguero.
No, Chisholm is unbelievable. That you spoke about that step, that footwork, just her speed when she gets going is unbelievable again. And obviously Parsons, the whole stadium lights up when she gets the ball. But I think Chisholm Aguero has the same ability, because she's, when she gets into space, she's absolutely electric.
I was actually commentating for Bevan Parsons' debut in an Ireland jersey. She was 16 years old. Prospect coming a long time, and it's a little trick play from the Clovers, and the ball spilled backwards, and Beth Buttimer looks a touch defeated. It was thrown to the front and spilled. I'm trying the little trick play, not coming off.
Yeah, you want to add a bit of variety to the game, but I suppose if you haven't had possession for a while, the Wolfhounds seem to be giving them the front of the line out, and the Clovers aren't taking it because they want to obviously attack off the back of that. But I think there you just need to get the ball and back your maul to get you up a few yards.
Emma Dunnigan's first throw is good, finds Nisha Smith, and in the backfield waiting is Linda Dugang, who absolutely loves running at defenders. Dane O'Brien's clearing kick is going to drop in front of Chisholm Aguero, collects it really well and looks to step and gets out of the first way of one tackle. Maggie Boylan's attempted tackle, and on the ground it is, and available for Emily Lane, and the referee says that's holding on the ground from Chisholm Aguero. She'd done really well to field it and step out of the first tackle, but penalised for holding on the deck. Dane O'Brien, this one is for free from the edge of the 22, left-footed. Perhaps not the most distance we've seen her get from her kick, but she's happy to get that one into touch and build again.
Yeah, I think we've Maeve Kenyon on there, and I think she's happy that they can secure ball there. And Grace Moore, as we said, they're stacking a couple of players, but we see Grace Moore just outside Eve Higgins, so I'd imagine they'll be looking at going off the top here if possible.
To the tail, really well taken and spun into midfield, and Dane O'Brien finds Higgins, and Higgins this time marshalled really well, and the attempted rip ball goes to the deck. Referee says tackle on the ground, and so there's a penalty advantage coming as the Wolfhounds look for gaps in this Clovers defence. O'Brien, big spinning pass outside, that's really well taken by Larne. Amy Larne goes to deck. Connor with the pass, and Wolfhounds grinding forward as they do, making yards in every contact, and that step is outstanding. Back inside to find the space. Clovers not drifting quick enough. Advantage is over. Carry from Kate Jordan. Dane O'Brien through hands and onto the deck, and once again there's a feeling of irresistibility about this Wolfhounds attack. They keep coming and making yards. That's the first time they've been held back.
Ball's available. 8, don't push it into her.
Connor again finds Barrett. Barrett on the deck. Connor through hands to Dane O'Brien, and that's a lovely little go from Boylan. Maggie Boylan breaking out of one tackle. On the deck she goes. Connor popping it up for O'Brien. That time around the Clovers managing to close the door. Smith on the carry. That's big from Nisha Smith. Connor's pass to Dalton. Dalton on the inside to Higgins. Hint to forward. Referee misses it. Connor back to Dane O'Brien. O'Brien with the crossfield kick effort. That one is going to bounce awkwardly, uncomfortably for Larne, but she manages to get the offload.
Knock on by Clovers, just a knock on.
Knock on only, says the referee, but Wolfhounds still have ball on the deck. And a good turnover, really good turnover.
No advantage.
Outstanding body position from Enya Breen to get over that, but the knock-on advantage was still available, and we come back for the scrum.
Yeah, the second half in particular, I think Enya Breen has showed her class. She's moved into 10 obviously, but she's just taken control physically. She's dominating at the breakdown. Even at 12 she was out there trying to make those turnovers, trying to slow things down, and certainly I think she's added a bit of tempo and pace with the ball when she's coming onto it there in the second half.
Let's go.
Niamh Connacher comes on as Nisha Smith comes out. What a shift she's had at the second row.
Yeah, she's been good today, as well as those carries and those clear outs. We've seen a couple of big steals from her as well there, so she's someone that this is her first year involved in the Wolfhounds, and I'm coaching her up in Old Belvedere, and she's an unbelievable player, and to have someone like that in the line out still learning is so good.
The work rate is phenomenal. That Clovers scrum is a much better scrum, and the referee has blown the whistle and he's going to reset, but I think if he gets another look at this, it's going to be a Clovers penalty. If it goes this way again, there is a real shove being put on by Ella Burns in for the Clovers.
Yeah, I think it was unbelievable shove, but she did lose her feet, so she'll have to try and keep that if he comes around and has a look at this side. But certainly that whistle he blew, it was one of those, I don't know what's going on in there, but I'll reset it anyway.
So Carol and Ella Burns both in for the Clovers. Clenaghan is in for the Wolfhounds, and that's a big shove. Wolfhounds doing well to resist the push as Dane O'Brien goes into midfield, and it's a lovely little inside pass for Dalton. Dalton breaking out of 2-3 tackles, finds Higgins on the inside, ball gone backwards, and Chisholm McGrail picks it up. It was a trick play, lovely little decoy run. Wolfhounds are unfortunate not to have pulled that one off. Superb little decoy run, and the Clovers are going to have to build from inside their own 22.
Release two.
Back to Breen it goes. Breen puts a big high hanging one and aims it at Amy Larne.
No.
And this one is getting bad tempered now. And there's some fists being thrown here and a little bit of handbags going on. And that really turned into a nasty one.
Yeah,
number of players involved.
I think it's the two hookers at the minute. I think Beth Buttermore and Maeve Clengan seem to be going at it. Beth was saying that maybe she got a hand in the face, but certainly you can see now that both the touch judge might have to come in and have a word. We'll see what he'll do with this, but certainly there was a lot of handbags, as you said, inside there, but hands being shook as well.
Beth Buttermore is not one bit happy, and Maeve Clenaghan steps out. The referee is going to have a chat with both of the touchies.
Okay.
This one always had the potential to have a bit of spice in it.
So,
yeah, look, I think Beth Buttermore might be in a little bit of trouble here just because of the retaliation. We obviously didn't see what happened pre that, but I can hear that.
Then when the two stood up,
just hear what the referee has to say.
Two Clovers chased 16 Wolfhounds, and 16 Wolfhounds turned around and swung a punch which connected with the face of two Clovers, and then continued to throw more punches.
And it looks as though
it's a high degree of danger. Contact
the
with the
red
face
is going to be
so it's going
for
to be
Maeve Clenaghan.
16
and Clenaghan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Maeve Clenaghan just in. And from what the referee has said there, it is going to be a red card from Maeve Clenaghan. It did. I always had the potential this game to get a bit spicy.
Had two holding.
Yeah, as I said, Beth Buttermore went in there. Something was done previous to her. You could see the frustration in her, and she was absolutely fuming whatever happened in there. And I think the touch she might have picked up.
16 turned around and threw multiple punches, which connected
the referee
to
explaining to Aoife Dalton.
So it's going to be a red card against 16. 16.
And Clenaghan probably knows this is the race run for the day. She gets the handshake from Aoife Dalton, and Clenaghan will come out.
On our mark, just here.
Beth Buttermore.
Yeah, we see Beth has gone off there, and Emma Dunnican has come on. Obviously, good coaching there, I think, because you could see the frustration in her. And obviously, as I said, we don't know. I would imagine, was there a strike called or?
12 again,
that's one of those ones where you've seen the players. If you're the coach on the sideline, you're going, I don't need that player out there anymore. This is not going to. We saw the Tyke Furlong last night in the men's game. Just when he was starting to lose his cool a little bit, he was pulled ashore, and that's where you want cooler heads. And we can see Ruth
It's a
Campbell
penalty here.
telling her players, let's play some
40.
rugby.
So it's a penalty
Yeah, it's
here.
going to be interesting to
for
see here.
Clovers.
We see the two Wilson sisters have
No,
obviously
but
come on there, and
let's take the heat out
Linda
of this
Zhugang
now.
is going off, but will they bring the hooker
you'll
back
agree
on,
there.
I suppose, or will they trust that maybe one of the props control the
Striking.
ball and get in there
16.
as well? It's going to be interesting until scrum time.
Sophie Barrett was so keen to keep playing, she forgot to come off the pitch when the replacement front rows went in.
Just
And had to be
there.
reminded, when the other guys come in, you've got to come off.
That's dedication to you. Us props, we try and stay out there as long as we can, but she's someone who's been outstanding today, just in her big carries, her chopping and everything she's done.
Dunnigan's first throw is taken really well off the top by O'Flynn, and into midfield the Clovers goes. Quinn carries to the deck, she goes. Decoy runners are good, and up come the Clovers through hands, and Chisholm McGuire looking to step outside, and marshalled by Dane O'Brien into touch. Chisholm McGuire, who's always going to fancy that outside. Dane O'Brien knew the touchline is her friend. All she needs to do is move her an inch and that'll do.
Yeah, that's it, and you could see what Chisholm was trying to do. She was getting that hand off, hopefully to step in, but Dana unbelievably got underneath her and made a really good tackle there to stop her, because if Chisholm gets going, she can be quite electric and very, very hard to put down.
To the front, and it's stolen this time by the Clovers, and they go into midfield, and Dunnigan's first opportunity of the game is to Quinn on the carry. Really good stop tackle from Grace Moore in midfield. This time the carry is from Eilish Cahill. Clovers going open side as they head towards the 22. We have 10 minutes left to play, and through the hands, Breen is outstanding. Corey finds McGann to ground. Ball is available. Katie Whelan with the pass. Burns is on the deck. Whelan into midfield. Skip pass is good. Really well taken by O'Flynn. Through hands once again. Eilish Quinn on the carry. Whelan finds Breen stepping back inside. Loads of defenders waiting for her. Really good cover to protect that ball. Campbell, notable for no number on the back of her jersey. This time round it's better continuity play from the Clovers, but the Wolfhounds defence is doing really well, standing up as Quinn goes on the carry yet again. The number 7 making herself available time and time again. Katie Whelan for Ruth Campbell. Grace Moore was waiting. The referee is warning Grace Moore, but that has slowed things down considerably. Clever play from the Wolfhounds. Breen with the little show and go, stopped really well, but manages to get the offload, and a huge carry from Eilish Cahill.
Don't go over no 6.
Yeah, she's so good at that, Eilish Cahill. She's unbelievable.
Burns on the carry, stopped just about though, fighting for every inch. Breen tries the little crossfield kick. Is it going to stay in? It bounces up, and no, it heads for touch and for just a tick. Anna McGann was waiting for that one to sit up for her.
Yeah, both wingers were out there. Chisholm was on her inside as well, but really good decision by Enya there, because even with this touch they have caused a bit of hassle at line out time, and it'll be interesting to see who actually throws here. Do they bring, as I said, the hooker back on, or I think Emma Jane Wilson can throw, even though she's in there as a prop. But certainly, I think in the second half, you have to say, I said it already, but Enya Breen coming in there, like a couple of good offloads. She's really straightening up the line, and she's putting people into space, and she's stood up in the second half massively.
Well, with less than 10 minutes to go, it's Grace Moore who's on the ground getting some treatment. And she has been involved in a number of rucks. Her defensive work at the ruck, if being singled out by the referee maybe once or twice, but certainly she has been massive in the in those rucks for the Wolfhound side.
Yeah, there's been quite a couple of people. I'm thinking about that man of the match and just our player of the game, I should say. There's been so many players from the Wolfhounds. It's probably died down a little bit in that second half in particular, but sometimes that happens when you race to a big lead in the first half. But a lot of players in the pack have put their hand up, and in the second half I think a lot of the Clovers players, I mentioned Enya Breen, there's been a couple of big carries from Alana McInerney in the centre, and Aoife Corey as well as getting on the ball. So there's quite a number of players, I think, for Scott Beeman to look at. Even though the scoreline is big, I think you have to look at players and individuals, and the Clovers in the second half in particular have stood up and put in a couple of big hits and big performances.
The line-out is just about taken back, and Grace Moore straight away up off the deck and into action again on the carry. Ailish Quinn waiting for the little show and goal from Connor. Wasn't good, and the referee says offside is going to be the decision. Clovers a little bit over eager. I'll tell you, with less than 10 minutes you'd hardly tell the scoreline was 43-10. Both of these teams still going at it.
Yeah, look, and that's it. I think the Clovers probably had a word at half time that we need a full 40 minutes. You can see the Wolfhounds are hungrier to get some tries, but the defence of the Clovers have been outstanding in that second half. But certainly I think we might have one or two more before this finishes.
It will be put in for the Clovers between the 10 and the 22. It's a long distance for them to try to build.
I think Emma Jane Wilson's throwing it in. It's always good to have an old prop that can throw, so it just gives you, that we don't have to take off someone.
Well, there was a lovely little inside pass there, a little trick move yet again. The Wolfhounds are trying whatever they like, and a little inside run from Higgins, but Dana O'Brien was murdered in a tackle, and she's just spilled it forward as she went looking inside and spilled forward, and so the Clovers will have the opportunity.
Yeah, let's go. 2 on and 6 off. 6.
Yeah, we can see, I spoke about Grace Moore's going to have to go off. I said at scrum time they're going to have to make a decision. There's nothing more frustrating for a flanker that has to come off for an old front row yellow card. But certainly she'll be happy with her performance. Defensively, she's been shooting down the line, making big hits, but also put in a couple of huge carries in that first half in particular.
India Daly is back into the front row as the Clovers scrum, which has grown as this game has gone on, will look to get a shove, and it's picked from the back by Whelan, and Whelan spots the inside gap and shoots all the way and heads for the line and scores. And that's what you want to see a line doing, picking from the base, spying the gap, bursting through at a tremendous pace, and the replacement Whelan gets her name on the scoreboard. Outstanding individual try.
Katie Whelan, take a bow. She's been waiting on the sidelines. I've seen her up on her feet. She's not even been sitting in that sub dugout. An unbelievable spot there. It's that in to out as well. She'd know Amy Larn well from playing with her in Old Belvedere, but she has the ability to always snipe. That's something massive in Katie Whelan's game, and certainly you can see it here, especially when she gets outside the flanker. Very, very hard for Maggie Boylan to defend that, and as I said, her footwork at the end just gets her away from Amy Larn.
And that try, the third for the Clovers, perhaps considering the dominance that the Wolfhounds had in the first half, they're more than value for the 43 points that they've scored, but the 15 that the Clovers have got is closer to a fair reflection of what they're capable of on the pitch.
Yeah, and as I said to you, Dan, just early in that second half, this game obviously is important for the players. They want to win, but also you'll have to park it. But if you can put in a huge second half performance and they both get through their prospective semi-finals, I think you'll have a bit of confidence. All we have got to do is shut them down. You'll understand the difference between the first half and the second.
Kickoff goes into the hands of Chisholm Aguero, and Aguero standing up and gets a knee on the ground, eventually realising she's not getting any more yards. The tackles as Wolfhounds come rushing up are outstanding. Slowing down a little bit, Fiona, through the ball knocked loose in a tackle. It is still available for the Clovers, but as the play slows down a little bit, let's talk about the player of the match.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're obviously going to go with the Wolfhounds because of that first half in particular. They were exceptionally dominant, but I do have to take a mention to Enya Breen in that second half. I thought she was outstanding. Abel Flynn came on as well and done much better in the line out. For me, on the Wolfhounds side, Erin King is just after getting another turnover there. The poor old forwards don't get rewarded for that, but I feel like Dan, just this game in that first half in particular, Dan O'Brien and Eve Higgins, but I'm going to go with Dan O'Brien just for her kicking. She was outstanding in relieving pressure when the Clovers put it on, but also just her game awareness and putting people into space was good today.
The game management has been outstanding from the number 10, as she always shows in both green and in blue and white, and indeed for Leinster, an outstanding 10 who's controlled most of this game. Deserved player of the match. India Daly will have an opportunity with less than 3 minutes to play in this game the Wolfhounds do have one more crack, perhaps, at the Clovers try line, albeit down a player. Daly to the front, taken off the top.
Yeah, she's someone as well who's been outstanding, who, when she was involved, the old front rows come off early, so it's very hard to pick up for the player of the game.
Kate Jordan on the carry now. Erin King, much better covering tackle. She's so hard to stop. And Connor with the pop up. Big carry into contact. The try line is coming for the Wolfhounds, and it's awkwardly and bounces loose, and it's fly hacked, and the ball is still available. Ball has gone backwards, picked up and collected. Quinn tries to get on it, and Quinn does get on it. It is Quinn with the poach, doing really, really well to get over Niconacher.
Yeah, it's really good by Eilish Quinn. You know, we saw her carrying, making big carries, but as a 7, you always look like you really want to get those turnovers. And I think Erin King has had 3 or 4 at the breakdown. So Eilish Quinn coming up with an absolute big one there, especially just inside the 22. And she's someone, I think, in the second half, she's probably grown into the game a little bit more. And as I said, that poaching is epical in her game, because I've seen it so many times with her.
So the lineup will be Clovers as we tick towards the end of this game. An opportunity perhaps, but they'll have to do it from deep. Jemima Adams-Verling takes it off the top, and it's into midfield it goes, and Breen spinning it out the back, and it's a lovely little pop-up. Murphy is on the carry to deck. She goes, blue and white jersey in the way, slowing it down. It's clever. Step back inside, tackle is made, says the referee. Whelan gets it quick and spins it outside, and Corey with a fend, and it's a big fend. She lets it go and goes again. Chisholm McGuire needs to do the work, and does, to clear out. Whelan, Campbell out the back door. Breen, it's a lovely little while it was from Burns, thrown awkwardly in front in the contact. Referee right on the spot to see it, and we're into the final minute.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind that though. You can see that they're coming onto the ball at speed. Ella Burns really unfortunate. She gets her 2 hands free, but it's such a good hit by the Wolfhounds that it slightly goes forward. But certainly far more exciting brand of rugby the Clovers are playing with the shackles off. They look like they're enjoying the second half a bit more.
This likely to be the final scrum of the game, and I assume just like the first scrum of the game, it will be reset. Connor has the ball in hand. She organises the troops behind her. Big shove from the Clovers. Ball is out the back, and the referee says that's a penalty. Well, a penalty at scrum time was coming for the Clovers for some time.
Big smile on Eilish Call's face there. She loved that, the tight end. Yeah, we said they were quite dominant, but certainly when the bench came on, you can see they really went after this Wolfhounds, I suppose, front row, and Eilish Call in particular at tight end really got under.
Tremendous power now in that replacement front row. And the ball inside, just about inside the Wolfhounds 22. So the Clovers looking for their 4th and the potential bonus point try with the final play of the game. O'Flynn is surely the option. Really well taken from Campbell, and out the back door. Dunnigan stepping back inside. It's done really well, places it. Whelan, Campbell fighting for an extra inch. Whelan again. Lovely little pop-up. Jemima Adams-Verling on the deck. Whelan's ball speed is excellent now in this half. Through the hands. Corey heading towards the line. Can she get the off-road away? No. To the deck. Quinn on the carry. 2 to stop her. Higgins is one of them. It's a good tackle, but she's made the yards. Lovely little carry and pop inside. Clovers still have Adams-Verling to the deck. Whelan stepping this way, coming back inside. Eve O'Flynn is on the carry. She's stopped. Hands again, outside, and it's going to be finished. Hannah McGann reaches with one hand and grounds it. And once again, you'll be wondering, is it grounded? But I'm pretty sure that one gets all the way to the ground, and the Clovers get a bonus point try. They're not leaving with nothing today. Anna McGann finishes in the corner. Excellent continuity play. Eve O'Flynn heavily involved, as she has been since she came on. Lovely pass from Breen. McGann stretches with one arm.
Yeah, really good finish there, but I think you got to take your hat off to Katie Whelan as well. She's added that pace, added that tempo. Every ruck the ball has been moved, and she's stretching that Wolfhounds defence, and brilliantly finished off by Anna McGann in the corner.
Thank you very much.
43 points to 20. And Enya Breen is going to attempt to kick the extras. Well, one would say it has been a tough day at the office, but not without certain bright spots for the Clovers in the game. The conversion is pulled wide, and so
Thank you very much. Thanks.
the Wolfhounds get the result with a big scoreline. 7 tries scored. Ruthless in the 22 all in the first half, only managing the single try in the second half, and outscored by their opponents in the second half. But for the Clovers, that mountain was entirely too big to climb. Well, this game has been full of incident, full of scores, some outstanding rugby played on both sides of the ball. And it means that the regular season comes to an end. Semi-finals will be coming up in 2 weeks' time, and in those semi-finals it will be Clovers and Wolfhounds, but Wolfhounds will finish top of the pile in this game, in this tournament, scoring tries, a threat from all over the park. Some outstanding attacking options, and they have been mean and cranky in defence. Nice to see the sportsmanship between the teams as well. Most of these players will play alongside each other for club, province and country. And if there was a bit of bad blood during the course of this game, it will be forgotten about. Now the final whistle is blown. We would hope to see both of these teams know that there is a chance that they'll see each other yet again. Britton will have something to say about that. The semi-finalists. We look back at the tries that were scored in the first half before the sun was setting, as it is now. Linda Jugang on the carry. The pace, the momentum that the Wolfhounds brought to the game. India Daly getting the score. Overthrown line out. That outstanding performance from the front rows. The Wolfhounds front row so strong at the start. Grace Moore's carry getting her over the line in that first score. And that line out really good for the Wolfhounds all game long. What a weapon they had in their hands. And India Daly with the awareness, as good hookers have, to know where the try line is. She picks from the back, and there's just no way to stop her from there, despite Faith Oviawe's attempt to do so. Once again, it's Dana O'Brien we see on the ball there, who's been pulling the strings all game long, and Eve Higgins, that way that she carries a thread all the time, unloading to Larne. Larne causes her defender to bite in, gets the offload away. That is a fine try, finished by Niamh Marley on the back of outstanding work from Dana O'Brien and from Eve Higgins. Two massive threats with ball in hand. Two players capable of moving that ball when they need to as well. The try-fest continued for the Wolfhounds in that first half. Again, Dana O'Brien, the linchpin, the little step inside, the offload, the support line from India Daly, absolutely outstanding. And the best efforts of the team in red and green just couldn't get hands. But watch how Dana O'Brien sizes the gap up, sees it, bursts through, and then the offload is outstanding. It's a free run, almost a free run for Daly all the way to the try line. Dalton this time around finding the soft shoulders, as you would expect from a player of her calibre, and also committing that defender. Corey had to bite in. She offloads to Higgins. Super covering tackle from Bevan Parsons, getting back when Higgins thought the try line was coming, but the speed was there. Evie Riley, who unfortunately went off injured later in the game, finding the supporting Erin King. Lovely show and go from Riley to start it off, and then Dalton wriggling free, getting out of the tackle, and look at that, perfectly timed. Higgins thought that try line was hers. Parsons had other ideas, but the speed of thought, the ruck is good. Riley picks quick. Erin King had run a good strong support line. No one's going to stop Erin King from that distance. That's a player who knows well where the try line is. Higgins' ability once again showing. Lovely little offload into hands. Dalton breaking free. Robin O'Connor, excuse me, breaking free and finishing. In the second half, the Clovers got a turn at the try line, and it was Bevan Parsons. Who else? That winger knows where that try line is. But the Wolfhounds weren't done with their scoring either. And as I said before in the first half, Erin King from that distance simply will not be stopped. Clovers' second was a great team try. The pass delayed just long enough before Anna McGann manages to ground and finishes superbly. This one, lovely little show and go from Katie Whelan. That's an individual try from the replacement scrum half. And then the final score of the game from Anna McGann, the winger, finishing in the corner for the bonus point try. Waiting down on the sideline with Dana O'Brien and with coach Neil Alcorn's Fiona Hayes, who's been on co-commentary. She has both the player of the match and the coach of the winning side waiting to speak to us now.
Colin and Dan O'Brien, I'll go to you first, Neil. What a first half performance. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, no, very much so. We talked during the week just around trying to start fast, and I think the guys were excellent at that, and I thought some of the way we played in the first half was brilliant.
Yeah, and going into the semi-final, obviously your top seeds there. From that second half, do you feel like there's work-ons? Because looking at you in that first half, it was unbelievable to watch. Obviously, you can't sustain that for 80 minutes, but certainly I think there might be a few to work on going into that semi.
Yeah, very much. We kind of talked at half time, didn't we, Donna? Just around like how we kind of keep consistent, and of course, we came out really well in the first half, in the second half, sorry, in the first bit. Now we came back into it. Just need to keep putting them under pressure as best as we can.
Yeah, and did I suppose with that you had Grace Moore in the camp this week, having playing over in the PWR. I suppose was there an added level of aggression in there? I know you're well capable yourselves, but
no, look, Grace was involved with us 2 years ago in the first year of this, and it was great to have her back in this year. So she always adds plenty of quality there. So brilliant.
Perfect. And over to you, Dana. What a performance today. We were up in the coaching box and all we could talk about was your exits. It's just, I wish when I was playing you were there with that boot, but certainly you were class act today. How did you feel out there with your kicking game?
Yeah, it felt a bit easier in the first half, kind of with the slight breeze conditions and stuff, but yeah, the Clovers put us under lots of pressure, so we had to kind of front up physically coming out at the start of the game, and as Pop said, we had to bring a fast start, but yeah, I think the game went well in the first half and kind of a bit more pressure then in the second half.
Yeah, and you were obviously really good at putting people into space out in the pitch as well. From that second half, did you find there was a bit more pressure on you, especially with that kicking, less time?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the Clovers kind of came out, probably were riled up physically, and that kind of put us under pressure, and then our own discipline and stuff. But yeah, there's lots in our own hands to look at, and I thought I was really happy with the attack in the first half. We were just being brave and taking opportunities.
Yeah, well, you were certainly brave today, and you're into semi-final. Congrats, lads.
Thank you
very much. Cheers.
Neil Alcorn and player of the match Dane O'Brien there as we recap on the final score in round 10. As we saw yesterday, 17 points to 22, Glasgow going down to Edinburgh. Today's match, Wolfhounds 43 in the Clovers 20, getting their bonus point try in the last minute. Tomorrow's game, we'll see Britton Thunder taking on Gwalia, and there is a final semi-final place on the line between those sides. As we look at the table, well, it's a case now of who is going to finish third or fourth. Chance for Britton, who had gone so long in the tournament without a win, who managed the only victory over the Wolfhounds in this entire tournament. Britton Thunder coming good later in the season, and they are going to look to leapfrog their Welsh rivals Gwalia into third place in tomorrow's match. We will see all of four of those teams, 1, 2, 3 and 4, as they're arrayed, will be playing in that semi-final in 2 weeks' time. The order of who plays who still to be decided. But from today's game, which was a cracker, even if it seemed at least to be over by half-time after a barrage of scores from the Wolfhounds. Clovers made it a game in the second half. Intensity went up. There was plenty of rugby on display, plenty of tries to be seen, more than 1 or 2 incidents in the course of the game as well. A highly entertaining contest, and we may well yet see these two sides facing each other again in the later stages of this competition. But from tonight, the final score is 43 points to 20 in favour of the Wolfhounds over the Clovers. On behalf of Fiona Hayes and myself, Dan Mooney, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.